Today's podcast is brought to you by Jiffy, fast acting at acid. Feeling a bit under the weather, Gothamites? Maybe you swallowed something you shouldn't have. Feeling a bit of the burn? Maybe you're just suffering from the daily grind of crime and never-ending nightmare and laughing gas attacks. Whatever the case, there is a solution. Jiffy and acid. It's fast, it's effective, and it's got a taste that won't burn going down, sure to leave a permanent smile on your face. So next time you're feeling a little off, reach for Jiffy, because in Gotham, even the heroes need a little relief. Jiffy, fast acting and acid. It'll stop the burn. What does it say? No bothers given. Right, that's right. Yeah, I like that one.
He's so cute.
Yeah, he's cute, alright. He's Winnie the Pooh. What is a Pooh, anyway? It's a Pooh bear, right?
I guess. I think it's a type of bear.
So his name is actually Winnie.
Yeah. Like the original bear.
Because it's Winston. Okay, I gotcha. Nobody ever calls him that, though.
Winnie?
Yeah.
No, they just call him Pooh. You'd think they could call him, like, Winnie. Because Winnie's cute.
Yeah. Anyway. We're back! Wait, I guess I should say, we're back! After that talk about Winnie the Pooh. A completely different subject that has nothing to do with this episode.
That's correct.
I am Kevin.
Wait, are we? Oh,
well,
we
we're
are
back,
I
but
forgot
yeah.
we were doing that.
Well, yeah. I mean, we don't usually do an intro like that when we do a two-parter like this. So you're right.
No,
right.
I mean, it's fine. It's fine.
Well, we'll just tell everyone who we are. I am, for some reason, if you clicked on Shelf Life Episode 2, Volume 5, The Long Halloween Part 2, and you went, well, I don't need to listen to Part 1, and I've never listened to this podcast before, that would be very odd.
A little weird to do a part 2 before the part 1.
But just for that particular scenario, I will say I am Kevin.
And I'm Rachel.
Yes, okay. And this is Shelf Life. And we are back with part 2 of The Long Halloween. We have been walking through the graphic novel, the acclaimed comic book special that is The Dark Knight, The Long... What would you always call it, Rachel? A Dark Knight, The Long Halloween special?
A Dark Knight Halloween special in 13 parts.
Thank you. Yes,
you're welcome.
Exactly. So we will continue where we left off, which is Chapter 7.
April Fool's Day.
Thank you, yes. What is the cover for April Fool's Day look like?
So it's like a yellowy green color, mostly yellow. We have a very minimalistic, I kind of like it though, a minimalistic Riddler shooting a gun. You know, he's got his question mark hat and his question mark jacket. Yeah, he looks great. He's got his cane and he's jumping in a puddle because it's April showers.
It's minimalistic though, so like he doesn't have a face or anything. It is just like a yellow background. Right. I do like this cover. I kind of wish that all of the covers
went like
had
this
this
style
kind of theme.
Yeah. I kind of like this style. It would be great if they were all like this.
Although I don't mind like having the variety and stuff. That's
of course.
Fine too. So a majority of this issue is really just contrasting the two quote-unquote detectives of the Gotham world, which is Edward Nygma the Riddler and Bruce Wayne the Batman, trying to figure out who Holiday is. In the Riddler's case, he is talking with Carmine Falcone in like Falcone's office. So Falcone has like hired the Riddler to try to figure out who Holiday is. And in Batman's case, he's doing it in his Batcave.
Yes.
We don't need to explain any of that stuff to people, right? Like, everyone knows Batman has a Batcave. The Riddler is the Riddler, like, all of that kind of thing.
Riddle me this, which he never says.
No, he does not.
I don't
know in what... That's got to be from, like, the 60s Batman, right?
The Riddle me this? I like the Riddle me this, though.
Riddle me this?
Yes. I don't know, it feels like a classic thing for him to do.
Well,
whatever.
I feel
Kevin
like
doesn't like it.
no, I'm fine with it in certain contexts. I think in this serious noir story,
That's
it
fair.
wouldn't work.
But I feel like even if he said it very seriously, like, riddle me this, Falcone,
That's fair.
just saying.
You might be able to get away with that. So the first couple of pages are exactly what I've described. It just goes back and forth between them. So it's like half the page will be the Riddler, and they're talking about who is Holiday instead of who is Batman.
Right.
That's from Batman Forever.
I remember that. Yes.
Yeah.
But they're both looking at like all of the holidays calling cards being left behind from each murder.
Yeah. Do they both have props? Like,
it seems.
Or did they find them? Because like I feel like all of them were like from like a party supply store, so they just went out and got copies.
They either have the copies, because I would assume that the cops have the real stuff.
Yeah.
So they both have to have copies. Maybe Batman's using holograms because he's got it on that fancy looking table, so he's doing some weird hologram thing.
I also appreciate that Batman in the Batcave, not like going out to do any detective work on the town, is still wearing full mask, full cowl, full cape. Like,
yes.
he's in his costume.
And has a lot of scruff going as well.
Does he have a lot of scruff?
Yeah.
You're right. He does have some scruff. That tells you that he's been working.
Exactly. If he has to leave at a moment's notice, at least he's already dressed. Takes a while to put on that makeup under the mask to make it darker.
Yeah, you got to get your eyes darker. Yeah, for sure.
Or
just not get some sleep. And then it goes back and forth. Like, the Riddler's talking about how this is a riddle, and Batman's talking about how it's a killer. And then it goes into all these hypothetical situations. So the Riddler is trying to figure out who Holiday could be based on all the facts that he knows. And he starts with the idea that, like, okay, he always uses the same weapon. So he either gets them wholesale, or maybe it's because it's lightweight, perfect for a woman. Yeah.
Right.
It shows us the hypothetical situation in black and white of Catwoman being the Holiday, wearing a trench coat, which was odd looking, like Catwoman in Catwoman regalia, but she's also then got a trench coat on.
Wearing two costumes now. She's wearing the Catwoman costume, and she's wearing the Holidays costume over that.
Right. She had access to Falcone's safe, so she knew everyone that was like in the Roman Empire to be able to go after them. She had the $1 million bounty put on her head. And then Batman's like, well, it could be Maroni. So then it goes back to his, Batman talking about why it could be Maroni. And it's saying, like, who else would want to weaken the Falcone family? And then he becomes bolder with each murder to the point where he ends up killing Alberto, Carmine's son, who really didn't have anything to do with it. And then Riddler is like, well, why would the killer shoot Alberto Falcone anyway? Answer. I do like that Riddler is...
Yes.
He is
He's
Riddler.
doing, like, question.
Yeah, question.
Answer.
Answer. Yeah. And he says, why would somebody kill Alberto? And he says, because he could. And I do like that one panel of Carmine. He's getting pissed at Riddler talking about Alberto. So he's like about to stand up. And Sophia is like keeping him sitting in the chair. So it's just a panel. You can't even see his face. All you see is the 3 scratch marks.
Right.
Riddler's like, well, what I meant to say was that, like, he's not a part of the crime family. So it's not like there'd be a reason to go after him.
Right.
And then Riddler posits that it could be Carla Vitti. So it's Falcone's sister. So
which would be the craziest thing of all.
Right. But he had like a reasoning for it too, because of the fact that Johnny was going to testify, and then like that would probably bring all of them down, and then she just goes on a rampage, and she would have been the one easiest to kill Alberto, because why would he think of anything of Carlo coming up, his aunt coming up to him?
Exactly.
And then gets rid of him to like cover the tracks of everything. So then back in the Batcave, Alfred says, like, if I may, sir, in all your theorizing, there's only one person you have overlooked entirely. And Batman goes, Julian Day. But according to Arkham Asylum's records, which could be altered, I suppose, the Calendar Man remains in their custody. That was my best attempt at a Batman without doing the Christian Bale, I'm Batman voice.
And I do like that Alfred's like, yeah, that's not who I meant. And we all know who Alfred means, because everybody who's always pointing out, like, there's this one guy you're not thinking about. Oh, wait, this guy that you haven't, like,
I might only point out that in one's quest for justice, I have seen someone even as sane as yourself behave in the most surprising ways. So now it points out all of the stuff that Harvey Dent has said during the book so far. 2 shots in the head. If you ask me, it couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. Hair was wet at Christmas. And it shows that it could have been Harvey doing it all this time.
Mm-hmm.
Batman grows suspicious. And he talks about how, like, well, he left Wayne Manor on Valentine's Day in time. He could have followed the Joker from his home and killed Milos, the Roman's bodyguard. And he's like, Harvey Dent. So now he's suspicious of Harvey.
Right. And which is upsetting, because
that's his friend.
In Harvey
Dent.
Dent.
And he believes in Harvey Dent. And it goes to the next page, and so it goes from Batman saying Harvey Dent to Harvey Dent saying Bruce Wayne in Gordon's office.
Yes.
Because Dent thinks that Bruce Wayne has something to do with the Falcones, so that he might have some sort of connection to the Falcones, which I don't think that they've figured out quite what it is yet. We find out what it is in a couple of issues, but like I feel like they just want to like get clarification on something.
I think so too. At least that's what Gordon does. I think Harvey's just like, oh no, it's got to be something bad, period, no matter what.
Yeah. Harvey does not believe the best in people, I would say, in this book in general.
No, not at all.
Another ominous threat from Harvey, because he says if Bruce Wayne is helping the Roman Empire, he deserves everything that's coming to him. And he says it with the half of his face in silhouette again.
Right. So then you think, oh, he's threatening him now.
Back in Carmine's office, Carmine says to the Riddler, Mr. Nigma, I was told there was no riddle you could not solve. And yet, you have only put together one guess after another with no more certainty of one than any other. And Riddler gets threatened here by Sophia, who takes off his little Riddler hat. Yeah, and he's going to over him, I guess. Is that what she's planning to do?
I think she's just planning to squish his head.
Well, he starts bleeding from the nose, so like she is, and his head, he like looks like very thin.
He
like
looks
that's
skeletal.
How he's drawn. Yeah. Under duress, Riddler says that, is it Carmine Falcone? And Carmine goes, me? Sophia goes, you? And then Carmine starts laughing.
Yes.
And he says, Sophia, take Mr. Enigma out the side exit. Yes, Papa. So they throw Riddler out the side door, and as he's standing there in the rain,
white.
It's black and white, so you know what's going to happen. The Holiday Killer comes out with an umbrella, pulls the gun out, shoots, and you see Riddler's eye. But what instead happens, Rachel?
Is the Riddler is standing still. When does a killer not kill? And there's just bullet holes all around him, making an outline of the Riddler, and they left their umbrella and gun.
So it had to be someone with a pretty good shot.
Oh, I would assume, considering. Like, that's a lot of shots.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of shots. Yes. And that's the end of that chapter. It's a very quick issue. April Fool's Day is. So that takes us right into chapter 8, which of course, because it is the Batman, is Mother's Day. Rachel, the cover for Mother's Day.
A baby Bruce Wayne at his mother's grave, putting down some flowers. It's all blue and moody. It's like a night shot, and the only other color is in the flowers.
Yeah,
it's a very large tombstone. But I guess he's just a tiny child.
Large. He's a tiny child. And the Waynes are ostentatious billionaires. So,
fair.
This is the one where it most looks like it's supposed to be Mother's Day, so this issue probably would have come out in May, and because Mother's Day is in May in the United States. It looks Halloween-y, because it's like a full moon Halloween-y. With like a dead tree in the background.
Yes. But I think that's the idea.
Yeah, very spooky. This issue begins with Julian Day, the Calendar Man, as the first page.
Just full on his face right there.
He looks like he's applying lip gloss. Like, he's doing
with
this thing where he's like, with his finger, like a creep. Like a really, like, just a twisted, like a creep at a food court, like dipping his fry too seductively into cheese dip. Like, that's what he looks like.
Yes.
Because he's just going, Mother's Day. Yeah, he doesn't actually have lip. He's doing it with his finger, which makes it even more unsettling. And then it's a 2-page spread of Julian Day's cell at Arkham, where he's put up all of these Holiday articles from the papers because he's obsessed with Holiday as well. And it goes into all the history. And just in case you haven't read any of the issues before this about what's going on here in Batman world, Julian Day is doing that thing again where he says, "You said you would have caught her by February." He's making quite a name for herself. So he's doing the thing with the pronouns again.
Right.
And Batman's all pissed, and he's like, "I know what I said. Why? Why didn't she kill on April Fool's Day? We found 22 bullets in an outline around the Riddler. Perhaps he thought to take the date seriously. April Fools, no killing today." So then Batman asks him about Harvey Dent. And Dent says, like, he's a Gemini, he has a birthday coming up. Why do you ask?
And he's like, you know why? Because everybody's been telling him, it's Dent, it's Dent, it's Dent.
Yeah, and he says, like, well, let me out and I'll stop the killing. Every son has a mother, even you. Do you want blood on your hands this day? So I think it would have been an interesting turn if, like, Batman has to let Julian Day out.
Yes, that
to
could
come
have been
help with
real, weird and interesting. And
I mean, they're going for a Hannibal Lecter-esque
yeah, I could see
vibe with Julian Day here. So, like, if you keep him in the asylum, then you can always come back to him and be able to, you know, where he is. Like, yeah, you just come back and discuss it. You know, did this happen in the Batman, or is it just the deleted scenes of the Batman from the newest movie? I think it's just the deleted scenes where, like, he goes and visits the Joker to try to figure out who the Riddler is. But I think it's just a deleted scene in that movie. But I think it is all from. I wonder if it's in anything before Silence of the Lambs, but it's definitely Silence of the Lambs.
it feels very Silence of the Lambs.
Before Batman can get any more out of him, though, the guards come by and say that there's been an escape on level 4, and Batman says that in the terror in the guard's voice, the way he says it, there can only be one man responsible. And Julian Day, of course, goes, "Happy Mother's Day," as
He's made
Batman,
him so gross and creepy, but it's true. That's what he is. He's gross and creepy.
He's very gross. He's very creepy. He's the creepiest one in the book so far.
Yeah.
Batman ends up going over to Jonathan Crane, the Scarecrow's,
because a guard
cell.
like comes and grabs him, like, help me.
Yeah. Now, Rachel, how come Jonathan Crane gets like a personalized nameplate like in his font? Did you notice that?
That's true. It is like in scratchy Scarecrow-ish
It's in like scratchy
font.
Scarecrow font.
Yes.
Like a trading card, or like, you know, like a placard if he were coming down the ring to wrestle would say it like Jonathan Crane like that.
I don't know. Maybe they let each one of them, you know, design their own little placard. They're like, you know, it's Crafts Day. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's Crafts Day. Everyone gets their own nameplate to put on the door. I like that idea.
It's kind of cute.
Okay, everyone, we're gonna do a craft. We're gonna put our. It's like in college where you have like your name on the door and you're supposed to like decorate it. Yeah, that's what they do at Arkham Asylum.
Yeah, exactly.
I can see that. The Mad Hatter's got like a big teacup, or the Alice in Wonderland design. Yeah. Penguin's got a. Now, would Penguin have a penguin, or would he have like a big parasol? Yeah. Maybe both.
Maybe both.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he'd have like a more businessy font. Joker's is very Joker-esque, like the card font.
Big smiley face, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Bane's is just like it's like big boofy letters. It just says Bane.
Oh yeah, his is like Comic Sans.
Yeah,
Bane.
Absolutely, Bane. Killer Crocs is like that one with like the little like edges in it.
I like
it's got like chomps on it. Yeah,
I like that. I like that.
We could probably do this all night because there's like a million Batman
Harley
villains,
Quinns, you know, would have like the two tone colors.
Yeah, and the like the little tips, like there's little balls. The jester balls on like everything.
Jester-esque. Yep. I like it.
So anyway, the guards are like, his mother came to visit him and he's gone. And I like that Batman goes over to the window and goes, straw. Like, okay, Batman, we got it. Yeah. He says that Crane strangled his mother years ago on Mother's Day, so it was not his mom.
Yeah, it was obviously not his mother that came to visit.
Batman breaks the bars off with his arms, which I assume has some sort of mechanical device that allows him to do that in his suit as an intimidation tactic.
It seems outrageous.
Outrageous. Yeah, it seems a bit outrageous.
Or poor design for this place.
And we get a 2-page spread of the Scarecrow on horse, mind you.
Kind of like him. Looks great. He stole a cop's horse.
Oh, I guess that's possible.
Yeah.
Okay, I will allow that.
He's not just like the headless horseman.
Well, that's the look, though.
Yeah,
but
I know.
Yeah, all right, I hear it. Okay, and he's galloping away. And again, it's May, but the sky is like red, like it looks like death. Like it's like
absolutely.
death riding on a horse, because it's all black with the full moon and like this like magenta color in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
Another 2-page spread then of Batman knocking Scarecrow off. He like tackles him off of the horse. The best part about this 2-pager, the horse's face.
The horse's expression.
The horse
ridiculous.
is like, yeah, his like tongue is like coming out of his mouth.
It's like he got yanked one direction when he was going
did,
the other,
yeah,
and his tongue is like, and he's like, oh, jeez, poor horse.
Yeah. It's a very detailed look for the horse, just to be like he's getting he's getting pulled in one direction here. I hope that horse was okay. Hope we didn't get
looks
maimed.
like it. He ran off.
The Scarecrow in this, Rachel, how would you describe how he's drawn? Like how this version of Scarecrow is drawn for the book?
Like the art, the scream. Do you know that the
yeah,
picture with the scream
Edward
with the face,
Edvard
like,
Munch's The Scream.
Yeah. That's what it looks like to me. Very sketchy because he's a scarecrow, so it's got like all that straw look and like very stretched, I would say.
It turns out, though, that this wasn't the Scarecrow. Batman is like, who helped you? Who set this up? And it turns out it was just a literal straw man. It was a literal scarecrow.
Right.
And inside the Scarecrow were the toxins that make you go crazy with fear, the fear gas that Scarecrow employs. For those of you that are unaware, uninitiated into the Batman lore, Jonathan Crane emits some sort of chemicals that amplify your fear and scare toxins in your brain, causing hallucinations.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah,
sounds
that's
awful.
that's been the Batman corner for this portion of the episode. It's a good foil. All of the Batman villains that are the good Batman villains are very good foils to Batman / Bruce Wayne. Because like in this way, Scarecrow, like he's trying to make people fear him by being Batman. Scarecrow is the epitome of that fear in the opposite direction.
And he's also trying to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Batman breathes in the toxins. And that's the end of that scene. And we go back to Wayne Manor, where Gordon is again trying to talk with Bruce, and Alfred is again saying, well, at the risk of sounding redundant, Captain Gordon, Mr. Wayne is not at home.
Right.
And Gordon's like, I don't really want to be here, but we're just trying to, like, get some stuff done. And Alfred's like, so he says that, well, it's Mother's Day, and if you understand what that could mean to Bruce Wayne, it's, like, a very private day for him.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile,
and I would assume Gordon would understand that part of it.
I would think so. I would assume that everyone knows that Bruce's parents were murdered.
Yes,
so I
feel like that's just knowledge.
Yeah, that has to be just common knowledge. Sophia is on the Gotham River Bridge, choking out a triad. Like I felt like this was like a Chinese mob guy.
I think it has to be. I think that's what they're going for, at least.
They're not
specific. They're not very specific.
She's got him hanging over the bridge, though, and with one arm, mind you, because she is the Hulk. And
she's massive.
She wants a name from this guy, who gives her a name, goes by the Gunsmith. He makes a .22 caliber pistol once a month,
right,
for some guy. And he's like, okay, well, where is it? It's at Chong's tea house. I do like that he's like, please let me go. And she just, like, dumps him over.
She does.
But then the next couple of pages show us what happened at Chong's tea house. So it shows Chong's tea house, shows Holiday shooting, and then by the time Sophia gets there, the Holiday killer runs out the back. And when she gets in, Chong has been murdered. So now and the Mother's Day basket has been left. So and I like that the Mother's Day basket is the only thing in color as well.
Of course, because that's the calling card right there.
Right. But that means that the Holiday killer is trying to cover their tracks.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and now they don't have a supplier either, so...
It's also interesting that Sophia figured that out before Harvey and Gordon. Like, she was able to figure out where the supply of guns was coming from. Like, you'd think that would have been a thing that they would have been trying to figure
Maybe
out.
she had more in on that side of things.
Sure, because
to
they're
understand it.
in the mobs, so they understand like the different connections that somebody might have. That's fair.
Right.
I will
It's
give
the
you
only
that.
thing I can think of, and nobody's gonna talk to them either.
Also true. Yeah, like how are you gonna get? Yeah, you have to.
You gotta
They'd
get
have to make
close enough.
arrests and make deals so that they can. Yeah, and you have to give us a name if you make a deal with us. Well, yeah. Whereas Sophia could just hang them over a bridge, and some eventually one of these Chinese mafia guys will give me some sort of name.
Right. Exactly.
And then the last scene of this issue is Bruce is walking down Crime Alley because he's got the fear toxin in him, and he's reminiscing about his parents being murdered. He's got a rose with him. So the rose comes back from Poison Ivy as well, I guess.
Yeah.
I asked her to wear pearls that night. She told me that pearls were only for a special occasion. We were only going to the movies. Couldn't we make it special, Mother? Like I can picture this little like chubby Bruce Wayne being like, "Oh, but Mom, can't you wear the pearls tonight?
You
That'd
look
be
so pretty
special.
in the pearls. It's special. We're going to the movies.
We're going to see Zorro." I do like in the Nolan trilogy where they go to see an opera. Makes it a little classier.
The opera or like a play or something.
Yeah,
I mean, it makes more sense why she's all like dolled up then.
I think for a long time though it always was, or in the comics it is like they were just going to see a movie. But yeah,
So it was
why
just
would
supposed
she
to be
wearing
like not even like a
pearls?
special night, right?
Yeah. But Martha Wayne's pearls might be the most famous pearls in
very
pop
iconic.
culture history.
Very iconic.
Very iconic. Well, actually, I guess that's not. Marge Simpson's pearls and Lisa's pearls might be more. What do you think is more iconic, Rachel? The Simpsons pearls or Martha's
Well, I guess
pearls?
it depends on
Martha-
how you're showing it. Like, is it the pearls like falling from her neck
falling
and like
pearls.
bouncing? Like,
Yeah,
'cause
that particular panel, which has been shown ad nauseum. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, sometimes I don't even know if people would be like, "Oh yeah, they wear pearls with Marge and Lisa." I wonder if people like really truly recognize it.
If you took them off, people would be
weird.
like, they look weird.
Yes, it's true.
I
agree.
think so anyway.
No, I agree. I'm just saying. I feel like some people might look at them and go, "Oh yeah, that's pearls." Like you're not thinking about it that way.
Mm-hmm. Folks at home, weigh in on this. What's more iconic, Martha Wayne's pearls or Lisa and Marge's pearls?
Or are there other pearls that
Or
we're
are
not
there other
accounting
pearls? Yeah, or am I not? This is my wheelhouse of pop culture is those two particular sets of pearls. And you're right. If you just saw Martha Wayne walking down the street with the pearls, wouldn't know. You see them fall to the ground though as she's being murdered. You know those are Martha's pearls. That could be like a pub trivia question where it's just like, please identify this character by this image, and it's just two pearls falling to the ground, and it's like, that's Martha Wayne. Yeah, yeah.
This is also saying Audrey Hepburn, just her,
All right, well, but she's a real person.
I know, but isn't it Breakfast at Tiffany's?
The
big pearl necklace.
Okay.
I think that's like
is that
the
on the
famous
list?
one.
That's gotta be on the list, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
Put some classic like movies on there. That's fine.
We've done a couple. See the back catalog.
Seriously, you put in like famous pearls on like necklaces, and Marge Simpson doesn't come up.
That's bizarre.
Whatever.
That's ridiculous.
Just whatever. It's fine. It's fine.
I'm a little offended by that, to be honest with you. So it's all red. So to give you that idea of like they're in like the crime alley, so the red tint is everywhere.
Right.
Gordon comes out, and I don't know if Alfred would have tipped him off on this, but I think that Gordon put two and two together when Alfred was like, well, don't you, like, you get it, right? Like, so, of course, Bruce is going to go to Crime Alley. So Gordon figures that out, so he finds them there. He is hallucinating that it's Joe Chill saying he wants the pearls, and then... So then Bruce runs because he's afraid of Joe Chill, and Gordon says, like, don't shoot, hold your fire, which... I mean, Bruce is a billionaire, so maybe the cops wouldn't have shot him. But, nowadays, you'd probably get shot.
Probably. Especially if they're, like, after you thinking you're a murderer. Or, like, you're a part,
or
like,
something.
connection
You're a
to
part,
the murder.
Yeah. And he runs away a la Batman. He, like, climbs the thing, and what's it called? The fire escape?
Yeah, he climbs a fire escape.
His trench coat makes it look like a big cape.
Yes.
Gordon's
run, mother, run! He'll never catch us, and he just keeps
you're
trying
gonna say,
to get
run,
away.
motherfucker. No. Yeah, no, he keeps trying to get away. Gordon is saying running's only gonna make this worse, and then Bruce,
but he doesn't realize it.
Jumps off onto a moving train, and he is able to, I guess, get away. He goes to the cemetery, and they know that he's at the cemetery. Oh, it's a bus. You're right. I'm sorry. The cops follow him there, and Gordon's even like, "We're gonna take this slow. No shots fired unless I get the command." And then It ends with Bruce is weeping at his mother's grave.
So it's It's the same shot. Put him as an adult and just bawling his eyes out.
Do we ever find out what happened with this? Like, how did Bruce explain away to the cops that he was...
Well, they did know that Scarecrow got out.
Okay.
So all he had to say was he got smoke bombed by, Scarecrow.
I suppose. I mean, you'd have to be like, well, where did you see Scarecrow? And
sure,
that could be an issue, I guess, because they never really say what happened to him.
No, because it does skip forward on this one.
Yeah, it just skips to June.
I have
we
no
never
idea.
Really find out. That's a bit of like all right, how did Bruce get out of this?
Sure,
because he just has the toxin in him. It would have been simple enough, I feel like, based on what the next chapter is, to just have Pennyworth be like, oh yeah, him and Bruce talking, and Alfred be like, or Bruce being like, yes, and I have to thank you for explaining to Commissioner Gordon, blah 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 blah, or whatever.
Right.
Like, maybe you don't need that, but it does beg the question when you go back and read it of like,
I feel like missing. It feels like there's a missing page.
How did Bruce explain this? Because
he gets arrested. He's in jail.
That's true.
He goes on trial. That's in the next part. But
because they're at a grand jury trial. Yeah, because Captain Gordon would have to be like, "Are you okay, Mr. Wayne? Like, what is wrong with you?"
I have a feeling they realize he's hallucinating.
Yeah, and then it's of course like then he's not in a position to be able to
arrest him anyways because they said they were going to.
Yeah. Okay. It's a little
it's a little fuzzy because it just hops to the future on this one.
Yes. That is the end of chapter 8. We are on to chapter 9, which is...
A Dark Knight Halloween special. Father's Day. In 13 parts. What is the cover for Father's Day? This is Batman, full regalia, with roses at his father, Thomas Wayne's tombstone this time. But green grass, blue sky. It's not quite as Halloween-y, but it still is dark.
It's got the shadow of Batman on the grave. Yeah, it looks more like, I will avenge you, father type of look.
Yes, that is the look of it, yes.
So now we find out the connection between Carmine Falcone and Thomas Wayne. I don't even think it's Carmine Falcone. I think it's Carmine's father.
I think
so. Because every one of these chapters starts with a big one shot of somebody's face as the page, this one is Thomas Wayne's face. And he's going... Yeah, is that what you would call that? This tone to this part of it because it's a flashback.
Because it's showing the flashback of it. Absolutely, yes.
Okay, so this is Thomas Wayne going, "Good Lord," and it's Falcone's father saying, "Dr. Wayne, look at what they've done to my boy." Thomas calls for Alfred to bring the medical bag, and he ends up going to work on Carmine on the table in the Wayne Manor, on the dining room table.
The dining room, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Bruce's narration tells us that the phone would ring, there would be a medical emergency somewhere. He had to go, he was needed, there was no choice. But one night, it was at the doorbell. And he says, Thomas tells Falcone that he really should be at a hospital, and Carmine's dad goes no, can't go to a hospital. If we take him anywhere in public, they'll try to finish the job. And he's like, can you just save my son? He says, I know you know who I am, and this is Vincent Falcone. He goes, I know you're a very rich man, but Vincent Falcone is a powerful man, and sometimes having a powerful friend is better than having all the money in the world. Clearly, Thomas felt like he had to do this, it's his doctorly duty.
Of course,
no matter who it is.
Yeah, your patient is your patient. That is
to save someone's life. Yeah, Bruce is at the top of the stairs, and he's watching his father work. And he says, like, I'd never seen my father do this before. It was like magic. I realize now that the life of my father saved was Carmine Falcone. For all the good he tried to bring to Gotham City, my father's actions have resulted in my being here, behind bars.
Yep.
My fate in the hands of two men I've come to trust. District Attorney Harvey Dent and Alfred Pennyworth. This plot point...
I think it's in James Gordon, but yes.
No, you're right. It says James Gordon, but it really should be
Alfred's
Alfred.
on the stand.
Yeah. This plot point of Thomas Wayne saving Carmine Falcone and being the one that has to do emergency, like get the bullet out of him or whatever, that is directly taken into the Batman. The Batman does that exact thing.
Right.
That's like the revelation at the end, because throughout that story they're talking about how the Waynes had something to do with the Falcones, and that's the revelation too. So just a ton of stuff in different pop culture or different genres of the Batman. This thing has been taken. Like, that's just another example of it. But I do like that. I like that scene in this book because it makes it conflicted, because like Bruce is saying, like, if my father wasn't such a good man,
yes,
Carmine Falcone
would
would be dead.
Refused to help him.
Yeah, and then none of this would be happening. But it also is like, but my father was that good of a man, and because of that, I am trying to be as good of a man as my father is. So it's like this. I like that. I like that. Not that twist, but just like that different the character development there on both of those, both the Waynes. It's a good. It shows you why Thomas Wayne is the way he is. It shows you why Bruce Wayne is the way he is, and how Gotham ends up in that state, because good people trying to do good things, no good deed goes unpunished. Message you get from Batman.
Absolutely.
In the meantime, Alfred is on trial at this grand jury. Harvey is questioning him about getting any sort of payment from Vincent Falcone. And he says, like, well, then what is the relationship between Carmine Falcone and your employer, Bruce Wayne? And Alfred says, there isn't one. And Harvey's like, well, then please tell me why, Mr. Pennyworth. Why didn't Thomas Wayne report the crime? So that Luigi Baroni would be behind bars, and this city wouldn't be in the grip of Carmine the Roman Falcone.
You know what annoys me? They're trying the son for something that his father did, and that just sounds like a bunch of bullshit.
It feels like desperation by Harvey.
It does.
It's like, what are you getting Bruce on here?
Right.
Like, what is this?
You're trying to, like, try him for something that you're saying Thomas Wayne did, which is his father. You can't do that.
Yeah, that's where I don't understand what, unless they had some sort of like documentation that there'd be like payments or something that
there was actually a connection between the sons, you know.
But they're like, there isn't one. Yeah. It seems so fishy that Harvey would even like being able to do this, that it is like, why is Harvey even trying? Alfred says, perhaps Dr. Wayne did file a report, but Gotham City was different then. The police, even the district attorney's office, were rife with graft. Several months later, Dr. Wayne and his wife were murdered. To this day, their killer was never brought to justice, and blah, 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 blah. You know the story.
Well, the whole point is he says Gotham City is not all that different.
So he's saying, like, you're showing that it's still corrupt or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
To this day, the killer was never brought to justice. Perhaps Gotham City is not all that different. Yeah, because, I mean, Alfred, of course, is just as indignant as Bruce is about the state of Gotham and his parents' mission. Like, Alfred feels like he owes it to the Waynes to keep that mission going, too. So, of course, he's going to be like, how dare you try to accuse Thomas Wayne of being, like, in with the mob.
Yes.
Which is also a good character, work for Alfred. I do like that Gordon is like, that's going to cost us, Harvey. Because, like, he's like, yeah.
Ooh,
yeah.
Gotcha there.
And then The Godfather starts.
Yep.
Because the next scene What the hell's he picking, Rachel? Is it a tomato?
I was really trying to figure this out because they're like vines.
In The Godfather, it's oranges, and I think they were like, we can't do oranges because then it's too obvious. So it needs to be something else.
But they're like vines, so I think it is a tomato. I think it's a tomato.
Okay.
I would say strawberry, but good lord, what are they feeding their strawberries then? Because they're
Well, I mean,
huge.
have you seen this guy? He's Big Lou Maroney. It's Luigi Maroney, the former head of the Maroney crime family.
Maybe it's just the stereotypical, they're Italian and tomatoes for tomato sauce.
Well, they're definitely tomatoes for tomato sauce.
Damn straight.
He's got the restaurant. We make our own sauce here at Maroney's. We stir the sauce 36 hours straight. No breaks. You stir that sauce. Oh, Marone. Oh, the sauce is so thick and good. No, that's definitely what it is. So maybe it is. It's just interesting because he's like Sal Maroney's father, who's like a retired mob boss.
Yeah.
Which
so he just takes care of his plants.
Yeah, retiring as a mob boss, that's got to be a pretty good life, right? That kind of means you made it.
I would assume you got to retire. You're alive.
I mean, in a spoiler alert for a page later, but he gets shot. But he did get to retire.
Right.
Because I thought that the ending for all of these guys was usually shot to death. Isn't that kind of... That's part of the lifestyle.
You kind of expect to die younger.
In a violent manner.
Sure.
So Lou says, I should have finished the job years ago. The Struns takes 5 shots in a chest and still lives. I don't know what a Struns is, but I assume that it is some sort of terrible derogatory term.
A slang Italian word for turd.
Oh, I like that. I'm going to start using Struns, you little Struns.
That's the first thing that came up, so that's what I'm going to believe now.
Yeah, I like that. So Sal is with him and says that, because of this holiday goon, all my guys are dead. How do I fix this? And his dad tells him, you act like a man. This is about Falcone. You got to get the Roman before he gets you. And as he says this, the dogs hear something.
Yep.
And in between the vines or bushes or whatever, comes out Holiday, shoots Sal's dad, and before he can even take the gun out, Maroney's on the ground. The dogs chase after him, but Holiday's already gone. The page spread of this month's Holiday killing is of Sal mourning over his father, and then the token is a tie for Father's Day.
Yep,
I liked it.
Yeah,
like in a box.
Tie in a box, right? Like a present.
That page took me a second to figure out what was happening because of the way that it's. Because of the arm.
Is it his hand? You thought it was his foot? Like he's a monkey?
Yeah, and I was like, what, did he take off his shoe? What happened here? It's just the depth perception for a second.
I did the same thing.
Yeah, it screws with your head. I popped... Okay, I don't know if I popped the mic, but when I went, yeah, it like spiked.
It's fine.
I have to figure out how to not do that. But yeah, anyway, I have a new microphone, folks. So
he just keeps mentioning it. You're just so happy about it.
Yeah, it looks like a big foot, and I was like, why is his foot so hairy?
That's the dad's arm.
It's got these big hand arms, but no, it's the dad's arm. It just looks weird.
It does look weird. No, I agree.
Back at the Romans' penthouse, Sophia walks in and tells her dad that the jury acquitted Bruce. Took about a minute and a half. So that it didn't even, that went nowhere. Because of course it wasn't going to go anywhere. They had no evidence.
Right.
If I was the judge, I'd be like, Mr. Dent,
this is ridiculous.
What are you doing?
You're wasting our time here.
So Carmine says, Bruce Wayne, I have business to attend to, daughter. I'll be back late. Catwoman is watching them. You don't know if it's Catwoman or Batman. It's one of the two of them.
It's like through binoculars.
Yeah, through binoculars. And Sophia has gotten her dad a present.
It's a tie.
It's a tie. And Carmine looks at it and goes, I appreciate the gesture, and just walks off.
It was
and
an ugly
Sophia,
tie, apparently.
Sophia looks so upset.
It's so mean.
I felt kind of bad for this murderous mafioso.
She like tried her best and got him a tie and everything, and then he's just like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Well, because his favorite was Alberto.
Right.
Sophia is just his muscle. Like I feel like he doesn't think of her as
I feel like he does do that. It's not his daughter. It's just the muscle, and it's kind of like, that's mean.
Mm-hmm.
You're a dick.
This is kind of mean. So then you see Catwoman was watching, and you just hear Papa, and like
it's
the
so
thing.
sad.
It's like,
I feel so bad for her.
This monster, and then Then Captain Gordon is back at home, and he sees that his son made a little card for him. He's sleeping, and he realizes that James and Barbara made a little tie of his hand.
It's so cute. And he immediately puts
it on, which is, very Captain Gordon. And he's like, have good dreams, son. And Barbara sees that he, went in there. So you can see the contrast between
the different fathers.
All the different fathers, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Jim's a very, family man. He just wants to do good compared to Carmine. And then compared to Harvey. Harvey is downstairs in the basement again.
Kind of a wannabe dad, because I feel like they want to have children, but he's afraid of bringing anything to this city.
And he's such a workaholic that
absolutely.
That's all he concentrates on. I feel like Gilda is a bit neglected.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. Absolutely.
I do want to know where they live in Gotham, though, because they have this, cute little cottage.
It's very adorable.
Where is this place?
No idea. I couldn't tell you.
It's some suburb in Gotham? Yeah.
It's gotta be.
But he's downstairs batting a light because it's the only thing that keeps him happy after giving up his dogs to Mr. Burns. That's what, doesn't that what it feels like? That
it kind
scene
of
where
looks
she's like,
that
are
way.
You down here, Harvey? And it's like, Gilda, ever since Bruce Wayne got off, all I can do is bat at this light bulb.
It does kind of look that way. We know what he's actually doing. He has a coin, but...
Well, he says, I went to go see Dad. And he says, well, my dad's as crazy as ever. So, we don't know what that means.
He sits in the dark all the time. This guy's...
Yeah, Yeah. And he says that he gave him something. I think he gave him this two-sided... The two-headed coin.
I think he gave him the two-headed coin. Yes. Mm-hmm. Because he doesn't really say, and he just starts talking about Bruce Wayne. No, he doesn't really say.
He just starts talking about Bruce Wayne. He says, I was so sure that Bruce Wayne was doing favors for the Falcone family, but a jury of my peers didn't agree with me. You didn't have any evidence, Harvey.
You had nothing.
You had absolutely no reason to think that he was doing favors, other than Thomas one time saved Carmine.
Right.
It's like they flipped a coin. Heads, he wins. Tails, I lose. But he thinks that because Bruce Wayne is from high society and has all this money, he thinks that, he gets away with everything, and that leaves us with needing to be done, which is the dynamic between Harvey Dent and Bruce Wayne in a lot of this stuff. Harvey thinks that Bruce Wayne is, could be doing a lot of good, but doesn't do any good, And then we go to Gotham Central Park, where it looks like Scarecrow is making a bunch of chemicals.
He's playing around. He's doing something.
Oh, he's doing something all right. Because
he's playing around in a big smokestack fire. He's got beakers and stuff everywhere. I think he is just making his gas.
Toxin. Yeah. And with him happens to be the Mad Hatter. So now you have Scarecrow with the Mad Hatter.
Yes.
He's asking if he wants some more tea, and Scarecrow turns around and just glares at him.
Yes.
Because I think
because he's doing patty cake.
Yeah. I thought it was patty cake, but he says patty cake.
I think it is patty cake.
Well, I've been saying it wrong my entire life. Apologies to all the toddlers out there.
I mean, I always say patty cake as well.
It sounds a little more kiddish. Patty cake.
I think that's why. I think it's just pronounced that way. That's fine.
All right.
Anyways,
that's fine.
Patty cake.
So Mad Hatter is Jervis Tetch, a delusional schizophrenic, homicidal, the Mad Hatter.
Tea? Would you like some tea?
Could you imagine the Mad Hatter being in one of these movies? It would be such it just would not.
It would. It'd be a little cringy.
There's a way they could probably get away with it, but it'd be so weird.
I think it's just the way I expect him to talk. Like, you could always have more. Like, I just
Yeah.
expect him to talk like that. And
Yeah.
I think if they just kind of toned that down a little bit, it would be
Sure.
fine.
Well, because even the dialogue in this is a different font. It's thinner, and then there's
Yes.
random capitalization, like a madman raving on Twitter. So
Right.
there's
So he's like putting his enunciation on different letters and
Yeah.
weird places. And
the two of them are arguing, and then Carmine walks in. We don't know it's him at first. It's in the shadows, but you can tell it's him but just by his silhouette, and then you realize that it's him. Because he says that he got them out of Arkham, and he did not get them out of Arkham to argue about cake and tea. They have business at the Gotham City Bank Depository. We need to get to the bank depository. Bruce is back home with Alfred, and he says, if my father hadn't saved the Roman's life, all of this violence might have been different. I feel like in every Bruce Wayne Batman story, you have to get the Alfred and Bruce scene. Like, that's just, you have to.
I feel like there has to be something between them.
So this is that scene, and Alfred is telling him that your father would have done the same for anyone who came to that door. That was his way. But I can't help wondering what might have happened if... And Bruce walks off. And Alfred says, it'd be as fruitless as my wondering, had I been a different sort of father to you, how better your life might be.
Right.
I think Alfred is lamenting the fact that if he could have gotten Bruce over his parents' death in a more constructive manner, he wouldn't be Batman.
Like,
right?
If he was a bit more fatherly, a little less the butler, even.
But that's always a nice thing, too, because I like that Alfred feels like a father figure to Bruce.
Oh, of course.
And Bruce is sitting on the steps, and Alfred walks down and says, like, what's wrong? And he says, like, I just miss him, Alfred. Is that so wrong? And Alfred says, no, there's nothing wrong with that. You are very much your father's son. And in the silhouette, you kind of see, like, it almost looks like Alfred is the dad, and Bruce is the little kid. So it's supposed to be the father-son dynamic between Alfred and Bruce, because it's Father's Day.
Of course.
And on the last page, Harvey Dent is coming back to his office late at night. And Vernon has gotten him out in the middle of the night. And in his office is Maroni. You want a piece of me? We both want a piece of Falcone. Maybe it's time we found out what we can do for each other. And that is the end of Father's Day.
Yes.
Which brings us to Chapter 10. Independence Day. On this, we celebrate our Independence Day. Dun, 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 dun.
That's a different one. That's a different one.
Yeah, you're right. On the list. That's on the list, right?
Of course it's on the list, yeah.
Okay. Rachel, what does the cover for issue 10 look like?
So we have like a purpley sky, yellow fireworks, and a silhouette of Batman and Catwoman jumping through the air. Why Batman's cape is blue, I guess just so you can see him better. But
so you can see the cape, yeah.
Yeah, it just feels... I feel like I'm not a big fan of it that blue or that light. I feel like it would be better if it was darker.
See, I kind of liked it. Now, I'll give it to you that it looks a little more disconnected from Batman.
That was my problem.
But I like the blue. I like that shade. Sure. I'm okay with it. Maybe there needed to be a little more blue somewhere else on him to make it
like
connect.
Balance it a little bit or something. Even put his bat symbol. Sometimes like he'll be in the dark, but you can still see his bat symbol on his chest.
But still see the symbol. Yeah.
I'm wondering if that would have done it.
That might have done it for you.
Yeah.
All right.
But otherwise, it's a nice cover.
Yeah. That's fine. Okay. So Independence Day begins with the holiday killing right from the start.
Right from the start this time.
So it's moving around because it was at the end of like every chapter for a while, and then last book it was in the middle, and then this book it's at the very, very beginning. This time it is the Gotham City coroner who gets out of his car that says Gotham City Coroner on it so that we know. And a hooded figure is there. The man goes to scream, gets shot, gets thrown off the pier.
Yep.
A 2-page spread of the Gotham City pier, or it's like under a bridge.
Yeah, it's like under a bridge. It's like under the main bridge and on a pier.
Do coroners usually drive around in hearses, Rachel? Is that a thing? Like, he's in like a hearse is what the car looks like.
My guess is that there was a body or a person inside of the back of that.
You think so?
Yes. Yeah.
Like one of the holiday killer, like, victims or something?
Yes.
So you think that the coroner was going to dump a body into the...
No! No, not like that. Spoiler alert, I think it was Alberto.
Was in the back.
Yeah. Like he was bringing him here, but like, undercover, because he knew he wasn't dead.
But this is like months after that, though.
I guess that's true. I don't know.
Like,
I don't know what the hell they're doing.
I don't disagree with that theory.
Maybe they called him, maybe one of the, like, the holiday or somebody, because he's in cahoots. We're going to say he's in cahoots with the holiday.
It feels like he's in cahoots, yes.
So if he's in cahoots with the holiday, maybe the holiday called him, brought him to the pier.
Yeah, I think that's
what
I'm
going to kill someone, come get the body.
Yes, okay. Maybe that is what happened. Because I like your idea of that's what happened, but I don't think they ever found Alberto's body.
That's true, because he fell off the boat. You're right.
Yeah, but I do like the idea of somehow the coroner was corrupt, and this guy was like...
I forgot that they didn't find the body. I kept thinking that, like, he was faking death, and, like, they found the body, but, like, the coroner took him right away, so...
they could have gone that route. Yeah, right. But they never did find the body. I like that. I like this 2-pager though, because it is all in black and white, and the color that you get here, of course, is from the fireworks, and you get to see like the Gotham City skyline a bit. But it is like under this like bridge, and the perspective is weird because the bridge is super big in the foreground and winding. Yeah.
I don't know how you get down to that. It looks like it's a big pain in the butt.
Well, it's where all the shady shit happens, is under the bridges.
That's fair.
There's shady shit happening right now under a bridge. I guarantee it.
A bridge somewhere. If you guys are under a bridge, be very careful.
If there's a bridge, you be careful under bridges, folks. Why did I say that over here? You be careful under bridges, folks.
Who are you saying it to?
I was saying it to my little Captain America Funko Pops for some reason.
Sometimes you gotta let them know, hey, if there's a bridge, you don't go under there.
Yeah. So, back at Wayne... Meanwhile, at stately Wayne Manor, Bruce is with Selena. I guess they're on a date?
Yeah. They're watching the fireworks from the manor.
Wayne Manor? All right.
Well, they might have been at a party and then they came back home.
That's what I'd like to think. I mean, it's
she's
July
all dressed
now.
up. She's got like a big old fancy-ass dress on.
Yeah, and he's got his suit, his Bruce Wayne-esque suit on as well, so... She asks him why does he stay in Gotham City, and Bruce says, after my parents' deaths, I left, but I was drawn back. I made a promise to them. And she says, like, yeah, but you had your episode of Poison Ivy. Harvey Dent accused you of helping Falcone. What would it take to let you go? Bruce says, honestly. And Selena goes, no, just lie to me. And she's trying to convince him that we could just leave
run
together.
Away together.
Yeah.
Just the two of them.
Yeah. Which, of course, comes back to play in the Nolan stuff. And but I think that's always been like a notion.
But I feel like that's just a comic-y thing.
Yeah, I think that's a comic-y thing. I think it's a Catwoman thing where she's probably always trying to convince Bruce, like, let's just get the hell out of here,
Right, because she wants to leave,
so
why not bring him with her? But then he sees the
Batman
symbol.
The bat signal. I like that panel though of them like hugging, embracing, and he sees the Batman symbol, and he says in his head, "What would it take to let go?" Harvey called him, and he's flipping his coin as usual now, and he says, "I need to talk to you." And Batman, and I like this panel too.
Oh yeah, this is a good panel.
This is good art of Batman. The cape is like ever flowing, and his shadow is huge. And he just goes, "Then talk." I don't know why he says it like The Undertaker, but he does. And
I think he would in this situation.
He says that he's beginning to not know if he trusts Harvey or anything like that. And Harvey says, remember the deal we made? You, me, Jim Gordon right here to bring down the Roman? And Batman goes, I do.
Do you?
And Harvey doesn't say anything for a minute. And then he goes, I made a mistake going after Bruce Wayne. No shit, Harvey. I'm glad that you're able to admit that like 2 months later. I just wanted you to know I make mistakes. I try not to make them twice. So he says after Maroni testifies against the Roman, it'll finally be over. I think I may want to take some time off and get out of this city. Batman says, well, what about Holiday? And Gordon stops and says, they struck again.
Yes.
I like that Harvey calls him Jimbo.
Yes.
It gives that nice friendly look to it, like
right.
Jimbo. And Gordon says the docks. This time it's a civilian, which of course is a problem.
Of course. And of course Catwoman is listening from afar and goes, "Meow."
Oh, that's what that is. Okay,
oh,
I had no idea what that was supposed to be. Got it. I was just ignoring that because I was like, I don't know what that is.
Cat ears and her tail.
That's how I read things, folks. I just go, I don't know what that means. I'll just ignore that. I don't need to figure that one out. Meanwhile, in Gotham Prison, Mr. Maroni has a visitor, and it is brought to him by Vernon, which I thought was interesting that they're still letting Vernon, who now is a known mafioso informant, right? Harvey has to know that Vernon is part of the Maroni, is like on the take. I guess he doesn't care.
No, I think he either knows or isn't paying enough attention to know.
He's so obsessed with
the other. He's so obsessed. He's just not seeing straight. So
it's Sophia. She has come to say hi to Sale. Sale tells Vernon to go get a shoe shine. And we learn that Sophia went to prison for Sale.
Right.
That she didn't give him up and whatever. They must have been trying to get Maroni on something through Sophia because it seems like they were intimate.
Oh, yeah, they were definitely intimate. They're making out now through the bars. Oh, yeah.
Sophia's trying to convince Maroni to not give up her dad because she's saying, I went to jail for you. Mm-hmm. You can do the right thing here and not give up dad. But I think Maroni thinks Falcone is part of the Holiday killing, so he's like, no, I'm doing what's right by me. You can do whatever you want to do for you. I gotta do what's right by me.
Sure.
So they embrace, they kiss, and Sophia says, without Dent, everyone would be better off here, but I know you're gonna do the right thing. So she's kind of hinting at him, like, without Dent, we'd be okay. Mm-hmm. Capiche? We head over to Barbara and Jim Gordon's house, and all the baby nipples are on the windowsill.
They're drying.
Because little Jim Gordon, baby Jimmy, his age...
Jimster.
Yeah, his age changes every single chapter. He's younger or older, depending on whatever they want him to be.
He looks so incredibly tiny in her arms.
He looks
and I
so
thought he was
small.
more of like...
I thought he was like 18 months.
I thought he could at least lift his head up. Like,
he can do the finger paint. Like, I
just
thought he was like
so much. Like, it's hard to tell.
He is saying daddy at this point.
Yeah, I'm thinking he's like a year.
He looks he's drawn too small in this, but
I know nothing.
Regardless. So this whole issue is just people saying, should we stay in Gotham?
Yes.
That's what everyone is asking. Batman's asking it, Selina's asking it, even Sal and Sophia are kind of... Gilda says, are you guys going to stay in Gotham? Can you see what it does to people that live here? And Barbara, who's wearing the Riddler's dress for some reason.
It does kind of look like the Riddler's dress.
It looks like the Riddler's...
You're right, it does.
Are we supposed to think that Barbara is the holiday killer?
This is it. We've actually solved it properly now.
What a twist.
What a twist.
Barbara says, Jim's work, I guess, Gilda. You know what I mean? Harvey is just as devoted as Jim. Now with the baby, we're digging in. So they're saying, like, she's saying we have to stay here because of Jim's work.
Yeah.
And Gilda laments this. She says that they're digging into hell. When Harvey first started at the district attorney's office, they used to call him Apollo, the golden boy. He was so handsome, he could do no wrong. But every day, this Roman case, it's like it's eating him from the inside out. He's changing. and she says, do you ever think I'll get my Harvey back? And then there's like no answer. It's just another rubber nipple windowsill shot. So she's lamenting the fact that, like, this is, like, costing Harvey his sanity because he's so obsessed with stopping this crime.
Absolutely, I agree.
We go to the scene of the crime, which has a little Statue of Liberty figurine. Batman is doing his detective work. Whoever Holiday is, he or she can always get up close, suggesting that the killer knows his or her victims. And Gordon retorts by saying, I've seen you get in pretty close without anybody noticing. And Batman just glares at him like, fuck you, Jim. Like, I don't think he's accusing Batman of being Holiday. I think he's just saying, like, that doesn't mean that they have to know them. That just could mean that they're very good at getting close.
Exactly.
But I just like Batman being like...
It's just such a glare.
Fuck you. So Gordon's like, well, why the coroner? Without kind of answering that, Batman just goes, well, does anybody know where Harvey was? Gordon says, do you really think that Harvey did this? But then fireworks go off. And Gordon thinks, like, well, it's probably just kids with some fireworks, which is what I would think, because of course it is. There's fireworks going off constantly.
Absolutely.
But these look like big city fireworks, so I guess that's the reasoning for it.
Yes.
And Batman vanishes, as he does. And it turns out these police officers by the Gotham Bank Depository were given the fear gas, and the fireworks are like a distraction for them. And the Mad Hatter and the Scarecrow are coming in fog. What's going on in this, Rachel?
I don't know. So they are in a wagon with horses, like a horse-drawn wagon or whatever.
They like blew out the door
and they're
of the
blowing
Gotham
up
Bank Depository.
The door
with like all the fear gas. So is like that fog like the gas?
I think it's the gas.
Okay.
I think it is.
Scarecrow is doing a bunch of I think he's doing the Walrus. Oh no, they're going back and forth doing the Walrus and the Carpenter, and the King was in the counting house counting out his money. The Queen was in the parlor eating bread and honey and doing all that shit. And they get to Down Came the Blackbird, and that's when Batman dunt 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 dunt, you know, the music starts and he starts to fight them. Or Rachel would go na 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 na. Okay, I'm glad that we covered both generations of Batman stuff. We do a Danny Elfman's. There, you got it all.
I do. So, the Mad Hatter's face in that panel.
Yes, it looks like George Washington in Day of the Tentacle.
Yes, and like they squeezed him, so his face is like expanding out.
It looks like a donkey from Pinocchio, like that transformation.
It does.
He realizes that them attacking the bank points to the Roman, and he starts to try to stop them. He throws a batarang into Scarecrow's hand, and then he says he tries not to enjoy breaking Crane's ribs too much, because of course when Crane, made him relive his parents being murdered, so he breaks Crane's ribs.
But he's enjoying it a little bit at least, so that's good for him.
Bit. He tries not to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And then the Mad Hatter pulls out a comically large gun and shoots at Batman while he does his, and thick and fast they came at last, and more, all hopping through the frothy waves and scrambling to the shore. And as he's doing this and shooting at Batman, Catwoman dives on him and says, "Oh, my paws and whiskers," which is kind of gimmick infringement, if you ask me, but
I mean,
I'll
yes,
allow it.
But is it...
Well, I mean, if the Mad Hatter can say that, but yeah, all right.
It's open.
I mean, I give it to Beast with "Oh My Stars and Garters." That's who I think can say something like that. But I guess she made it her own. Beast would always say "Oh My Stars and Garters."
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, is that from Alice? Is that what you're saying? Like,
well, she says, "Sorry, it's the only line from Alice I remember." So is the line actually "Oh My Paws and Whiskers"?
From Alice in Wonderland?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if it's from like the original, like Lewis Carroll's, but
that's what I'm asking.
I'm looking. I don't know.
I'm looking. Give me a second, God.
Oh, my fur and whiskers? Wait, this one says, "Oh, my ears and whiskers." Which one is it?
Folks at home, let us know. So, Batman says, "You've been following me again." And she says, "I love fireworks. I like the Cheshire Cat." And she's like, and I like all this money that's just sitting here.
See, you're doing the same voice I was, so...
Yeah, no, that's fair. Well, that's the voice. That
is the voice.
I know places, Batman. Things only I could show you. And Batman's retort is just, the Roman orchestrated all of this. Do you want to help? She says that's not what I handed mine, and all you see is her hand reaching somewhere.
She was holding his cape. She dropped it.
Yep,
Don't make it seem gross, but I mean, she is being very
fine.
sexual anyways, but she was holding his cape in the panel above, and then she drops his cape when she's like, that's not really what I had in mind, but whatever.
Yes, Rachel is telling you the truth of what's happening.
Kevin's trying to make it weird.
She grabbed his balls, and then...
She went for the cod piece.
Oh, she went straight for the cod piece. She's done that before. I've seen Batman stuff where she goes for it and he kind of like grabs her hand away.
I would not be surprised.
Catwoman runs away because she's like, I don't really care about that. She does, but I think she just doesn't want to like do it right this minute.
Right.
Or she's got better things to do. And the last page is Batman going, Catwoman says, your loss.
Yes.
Because she was thinking like, no, I thought we could fool around. And his response is, no, the price of independence. Scarecrow says fears, and the Mad Hatter says madness. Is that in response to him saying that's the price of independence, is fear and madness? I guess.
Maybe that's what they're going for. A little odd, but yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. That is the end of Independence Day. So now we move on to August, Rachel. And as Americans, the month of August, outside of being fantasy football gets ready and Kevin has a lot of anticipation for fantasy drafts and whatnot, nothing happens in August as far as holidays. Nothing is in August for holidays. Nothing.
Sure.
It sucks. So they have made Chapter 11 what?
So Chapter 11 is a Dark Knight Halloween special, Roman Holiday, in 13 parts. And that it means it's the Roman's birthday in August.
Is Roman Holiday just a movie? Is it not a real thing? Nope.
No, it's just a movie.
Yeah, so they just call it Roman Holiday because it happens to be Carmine's birthday. He had one of those August birthdays. So yes. He was either the youngest kid in his class, or I bet you Vincent Falcone held him back a year so that he would be the oldest kid in the class. So that he could be on all the sports teams.
Oh yeah, there you go. The cover is a 3-tiered cake. Batman is at the top as the candle at the top. Then we have Gordon and Harvey Dent on the 2nd tier. And on the 3rd tier, we have, what's the aunt's name? Carla and Sophia on the 3rd tier. And then at the bottom, there is a cut of cake sliced out. And
there's supposed to be blood.
It almost looks like blood, but it's gotta just be like some sort of like cherry sauce or something. I don't know.
Well, yeah, but I think that's.
But then we have Catwoman. Her candle is just like laying down next to the cake, with Roman's eyes in the background.
Yeah, it's like Roman thinking about all of the pieces that he has like in front of him.
Here, I can show you it really quick, so I hopefully didn't get anybody wrong.
So I guess that's implying that something's gonna happen to Catwoman here.
I think that's the implication. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I guess the implication is that they're taking Catwoman out of the puzzle or something like that.
Yeah, like her piece is being removed.
Gotcha. So the first scene in this, the face that you get, folks at home, which face do you think it could be? Because it's a different face every single time. This one, give us your guesses. Okay, you were wrong. It's Gilda. So
nobody's gonna guess Gilda. Nobody.
So this one is Gilda, and she's saying, please, tell me the truth. And so they're in the basement again, and Harvey goes, are we having this discussion? I'm due in court in an hour, Gilda. What are you doing in the basement? And she says that she found something, Harvey, on your workbench. It's one of those guns that the Holiday Killer has. And she picks it up and shows it, and he goes, that's evidence, and like grabs it from her. Which I don't know if it looks like he like yanked it from her. It's like, I don't know if I'd be yanking a gun even if it like has nothing in it. Like, I'm sure it has nothing in it, but still.
You'd hope, but at the same time, very, very poorly handled.
Since when do you bring evidence home from the office? And he goes, what are you asking me? I'm the district attorney. I do it all the time. And he walks up the stairs and she goes, all the time? In like pitch black of the basement. She looks like a little like China doll almost in that panel.
She really does.
Rachel, you have read this story. You know the ending of this story.
I do.
This scene, if you take the ending of this story very literally, makes no fucking sense.
Not really. It doesn't really.
No sense.
It's a bit confusing unless she was just trying to get him to say something so she could say something.
Okay.
It's the only thing I can think of. And then or maybe she's going, wait, is it just evidence? And I started doing this thinking it was him and it's not.
Oh.
Is it that?
I actually kind of like that too. Okay. That could get me somewhere. Because when I planned, I had like a little sticky note on this page going, have Rachel explain to me how this scene is supposed to make any fucking sense in the context of the entire story without the ending being metaphorical and not literal, which was going to be my argument. But that kind of makes it work a little bit better.
Yeah.
Where she thinks it is him.
Right, and she just wants him to admit it so she can admit it.
Yeah. And he's like, what are you talking about? I do this
it's
sometimes.
Literally just evidence.
Which seems very fishy and sketchy anyway.
Of course.
You shouldn't be bringing evidence home like that,
No.
Harv. But if he's telling the truth, then I think you're right. I think
or even if he's not telling the truth and she thinks he is, she's still going, oh God, am I wrong? Have I been wrong this whole time?
Yeah. All right. That gives me a little bit. Folks at home, Rachel's got me back on track a little bit because I was about to deride Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale a little bit to be like, I think you put one too many red herrings in this book because the ending with this scene, the ending doesn't work at all. We'll get to the ending. I have my opinions on the ending and the twist on top of the twist. But this scene I was just like, what are we doing here?
Right.
Why are they talking like this? This makes no sense.
Yes.
In the context of what you have the ending as. So maybe that works, Rachel. Maybe we can headcanon that.
We'll see. I can always. I'll play that side of it then.
Okay. Meanwhile, at some bar. This bartender is going, I thought you only came out at night. So it's clearly not night.
Where is he? I'm sorry. I don't know.
Damn it. That's a very obscure reference, folks, for some kids made like a Dark Knight parody trailer.
It was fantastic.
And Rachel and I have always remembered that, because in the Dark Knight trailer, there was always that scene of Batman asking somebody, where is he? Asking for the Joker. But in the parody trailer, they have him go, I don't know. And then Batman goes, damn it, and just walks away.
It's great. It's great.
So, yes, I'm glad that you picked that up on that, Rachel, because I didn't think about that. Yeah, where is he? Batman's costume looking very blue as well.
Yeah. I like it,
we learned
it's nice.
We learned that Carmine's birthday is August 2nd. So I guess you could either listen to this during Halloween season as a noir called The Long Halloween.
There you go.
Or you could listen to it on August 2nd to celebrate Carmine Falcone's birthday. Happy birthday. Roman.
Honestly, maybe that's what they should have named it. Because I don't know, Roman holiday. They could have been like Happy Birthday Roman or...
I'm okay with it. I'm not okay with it, but I'm okay with it.
There's
it's not
something
a real
just like
holiday.
So blah about Roman holiday. I don't know.
It's August. We have nothing.
I know.
Make it his birthday. So the bartender goes to hit Batman with a baseball bat, which is just a stupid idea. And Batman catches it with his hand and looks like that gif of him giving the thumbs up, which is also one of my favorite things in the world. He shoves the bat back into the bartender's mouth.
I feel like that would have, or could have, killed the man.
It could have. He knows what he's doing, though. He's a ninja.
Sure.
A guy hits him over the back of the head with a chair like Homer.
Yep.
So Batman goes to town and beats the shit out of all these people here. Riddler finally reveals himself and goes, why is Batman like a robot? They both have a bow to take.
And then he's applauding.
Yeah. So Batman walks up to him and tries to look super intimidating and goes, "You saw who Holiday was, right?" And he realizes that Riddler is scared, not of him, but of something he knows. And Riddler says yes and no. You were outside the Roman's building. What did the Roman want with you? And he goes, well, he wanted to know who Holiday was, and he didn't like my answers. And he goes, but a better question, why didn't Holiday kill me?
Right.
Was it just an April Fool's gag? And Batman goes, or the Roman wanted you to tell the world that he was looking for Holiday.
Oh, like it wasn't even the Holiday that did it? Like he's saying...
Oh, so he's saying like it wasn't...
it could be Roman trying to...
I think it's
also
both.
draw a red herring.
Is it a red herring because Roman's trying to say that it's not him, or
like, look, he's I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah, or it could be it wasn't Holiday.
Yes,
and he was trying to make it seem like it was Holiday. So
right.
yeah, I think you could go either way. I think you are supposed to think the former. That is it Carmine? Because then the next page is Carmine talking with Carla, his sister, and is saying like, "Are you questioning me?" And Carla, in her most Karen-esque behavior, is going, "Your behavior, Carmine. I'm questioning your behavior. You hired Poison Ivy and the Riddler. These freaks."
Freaks!
And he is about to say, "Never make me explain my business." I think he kind of does, but before he can say the line from The Godfather, Sophia pops in and says that they're ready.
Right.
And they're taking Maroni over to the courthouse.
Yes.
Because he is going to be a witness against the Roman. Yeah. So Gordon pats him down and he goes, "What's the matter, Jimmy? Don't you trust me?" Gordon just goes, "No."
I love that.
As they're taking him over, Vernon comes by and goes, "Mr. Maroni, I'm Vernon Fields. I work for Harvey Dent." So you could tell something's going on because we know Vernon and Maroni work for each other. They know each other.
Right.
And Maroni takes out something. He asks, like, "Is that stomach stuff?" All of a sudden, Dent's worried about my ulcer. And Vernon goes, "Well, he just wants you to be safe." So Maroni knows what he's supposed to do with it.
Yes.
The next 2 pages is a big shot of the courtroom. My personal favorite is this kid in the citizens area that eating a sandwich or being fed a sandwich.
I didn't notice
Why
that
is there
before.
a kid in there getting a sandwich fed to him?
I don't know.
And I
it's
assumed
so weird.
that the guy in the back with the cap on is Bruce in disguise.
Oh, I think it is. Because they show him later.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Harvey is giving these statements with Maroni as the defendant, and he's saying that the prosecution, it is kind of weird because they have I don't know who's on trial here because the prosecution is calling Salvatore Vincent Maroni, aka the boss Maroni, to the stand, but I can't really tell who is on trial. If it is Carmine, it must be Carmine.
It's Carmine,
but I don't see him there.
He's right there in the middle.
Isn't that Maroni?
Yes.
So who's on trial?
So Maroni is on.
Maroni is on trial.
Maroni is on trial.
Okay.
They're just calling him to the stand.
Okay. In his head, Batman talks about how Harvey's waited for this his whole life. He's never prosecuted a case with this much stake. And perhaps Gotham City will be rid of the evil that has nearly choked the life out of it. Back in the Roman's penthouse, though, it turns out that there was a surprise party for Carmine, and that's what Sophia wanted for him to come out for. So they're saying happy birthday to him. He makes a wish on his giant birthday cake.
Yep. He's got to feed everybody.
And Maroni starts to confess to stuff. "I hit Mickey Gazzo and his brother Frankie. We tossed their bodies in the Gotham River. Lots of wise guys you're looking for are in the Gotham River. Maybe that's why I got an ulcer from drinking the water." And Dent goes, "Ulcer?" So we know that Harvey didn't give him the drugs.
Right.
It's just spelling it out for you. He says, "Yeah, it's been killing me. Maybe I got a guilty conscience." So Dent asks him under oath, "Didn't you commit all these murders and felonies under direct orders from Carmine Falcone?" And Maroni starts coughing. It says Falcone. And Batman, this is where Batman is in the back and he realizes something is wrong.
Something's wrong.
And Falcone takes out our fake sponsor for this week, of course.
Jiffy, fast-acting antacid.
That's right. I like that it says antacid because you can... I'm a little surprised they didn't have him hold it slightly so that it said acid.
Right. Yes.
Because that's really what's in it, is some acid. So we get the classic Harvey Dent, Two-Face origin story. He goes to ask again, and he says, well, 1 second, I got something right here! And he tosses the acid into Harvey's face.
Yep.
At the same time, Carmine blows out the candles. Harvey is in terrible
Wonder
pain.
what he wished for. Well, I think that's supposed to be
folks
the
at home,
parallel.
let us know what you... Yeah. Absolutely. He wished for Harvey to go away.
Yes.
Folks at home, let us know what you think that he wished for. Was it for Harvey to go away? That's what I think.
Did he want a new bicycle? I think that'd
Potentially.
be a good one, too.
I'd like a new bicycle and some more tomato sauce. So Harvey is just on the ground in terrible, terrible pain. I can't speak for it, because luckily I have never touched acid. I assume that the second it touches you, that's the end of it.
Oh, it's going to eat through. It's going to just...
Even if they got towels and stuff to him, he's going to look like Two-Face.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think... It's very fast. I mean, some of it's fast, some of it's really slow, but my assumption is whatever he got sprayed on his face, like this guy says, it eats through cement, so...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Vernon says he'll go get help, which... Does Vernon never gets his comeuppance in this? I feel like Vernon did not realize that they were going to spray acid in his face.
Did he not get his comeuppance? I thought he did. Maybe in my head I was just...
I guess we'll see. I
imagining
can't remember.
it.
So we see that Harvey's face is starting to turn red, and Batman says that in his head, he says he'll never forget the sound of him screaming.
Yes.
We go to the hospital, and Jim and Barbara and Gilda are there, and Jim won't sit down, and they're waiting for the doctor. The doctor comes out and goes, Mrs. Dent, your husband is gone, and everyone thinks that means that he's dead.
I mean, the doctor was stabbed, so I get it, why he said it like the way he did, but he goes, no, he's gone, he's escaped, and then he was, like, stabbed in the back with a scalpel.
Yeah, he says, no, he's gone, he escaped, and then he, like, falls down, and it's supposed to be, like,
Harvey stabs him.
Stabbed him in the back to be able to, like, run out of there. And then we get a second... Oh, wait, is this the first killing for the Roman holiday? Yeah, it is. So then we get our monthly killing in black and white, and it's in the Gotham City Coroner's office, and there's a file called Holiday, and it's all of the Holiday's victims.
Yes.
And then we see that Carla is in there, and she's going through the files, and she gets shot in the back, and all the files go everywhere, and she falls over, like, dead on the ground. And
That's
the
right.
red light of it's saying Gotham City Coroner is what you see there. So now another one of the Carmine family is gone.
So my only problem with this one is there isn't, like, a candle. There isn't, like, a little present. There isn't
there's
anything.
Nothing.
It's just...
Yeah, because it should have been, like, happy birthday.
Yeah, like a little
Carmine.
cupcake with a candle in it.
Yeah. Again, going back to the fact that it's not really a holiday, it's his birthday, and there's no holidays in August.
All right, fine, whatever. But there still should have been something.
There should have been something, and this one, more than anything, feels like it is just a...
it was like a rushed job.
Covering it up, yeah.
Yeah,
You're right,
like,
the holiday killer got
I
a
just
little
gotta kill
sloppy
him.
here.
Right.
Yeah, little sloppy. Rachel, does every chapter of yours end with the gun too,
Yes.
or is that just the graphic novel? It is, and yours too. Okay.
Yes, it all ends with the gun.
Okay.
The smoking gun.
Yeah, the smoking gun. Chapter 12. We are in September, Rachel.
Which
What are we
means
at?
a Dark Knight Halloween special, Labor Day. I'm sorry,
In
I
13
have to
parts.
say it every
You have
time.
to say, and then you have to
13
go
parts.
in 13 parts.
Because that's what it says.
I know.
What am I gonna not say the proper title?
What is the cover for this one? Because in the novel, in the book, in the trade back, I can't tell what the hell's going on.
All right, I'm gonna share it with you so you can see. It is a picture frame that is like a Batman picture frame. And it's on, like, hooked up on the wall on a nail. It's shattered, and it looks like a person reaching out, but they're also covering their face.
Okay. So I'm guessing it's supposed to be like
a
Harvey
vampire.
Dent.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, kind of like a vampire. It feels like they got
He's
to the
doing
point
it
where
like,
they're...
blah, blah. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like...
yeah. It feels like they got to the point where they could not figure out
what are you going to do for Labor Day?
Labor Day. So they're just like, we got nothing.
It is a little odd that that's what they chose. Yeah.
I do like the Batman font, though, that they have for Batman the Long Halloween. That is that, like,
nice.
classic
I do like
Batman
that.
font, that detective font.
It's very pretty.
Yeah, they had nothing for this one.
So I'm not even a big fan of this either.
The face that starts off this issue is Harvey Dent. But it is the two-faced version of Harvey Dent, so we can see that he's got wrappings all around his face. His left eye is all, like, decrepit and gross. His teeth are all, like, rotted and yellow, too.
Well, I'm guessing because it touched the teeth and it's...
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I mean, it melts his mouth. Like,
right.
He talks like this from now on. So, yeah, I guess so. And he asks, "What are you?" And it turns out that Harvey Dent went down into the sewers. And he's talking with Solomon Grundy.
Right. And he knows the rhyme. Because he
knows the rhyme.
Because Solomon Grundy does his Born on a Monday, and he goes, never ask a question you don't know. And then he ends up doing, like, Chris and Donna.
Yeah, he does the whole
Stark,
thing.
a Stormy Tuesday, or whatever he does. Yeah.
Well, because Grundy takes him and starts fighting with him. Batman, in the narration, laments the fact that he's lost his friend because he stabbed his own surgeon and is escaping despite all his efforts. "I'm now afraid Harvey Dent, my friend, is lost."
Right.
And that gets Solomon to calm down. And that's what Dent is like, is that what happened to you? Did you die and come back? Can a man live two lives?
Yes.
Now.
And that's just metaphorical for 3 different people in this.
That is true. Dent has the bandages on his face, Rachel.
Yep.
He is in a sewer.
Yep.
With this grody, month-old acid face that has to be painful as fuck.
Yep.
And it's in sewer water.
Uh-huh. Yep. It's gross.
He's getting every disease ever known to man.
Pretty much.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
He's gonna be dead in like a day.
He's gonna be infected. There's a lot of stuff happening here.
It's very disgusting.
It's horrendously disgusting.
This is obviously supposed to be you seeing the transition of I don't know if it's obvious, but I think that this is supposed to be the transition of Harvey from being the noble white knight, and now he's lost the humanity. He's one of the freaks. He's one of the rogues because he understands Solomon Grundy.
Yeah.
So now he's transitioned to that side.
That's what tells it.
We go back to the top of the rooftop again, and Batman says that the only other man I can trust. But this turn with Harvey, it's changed the way Gordon looks at me as well. He thinks that Gordon looks at him as like, if this could happen to Harvey, is Batman just one step away from becoming a monster too?
Sure.
So now they think that
I wonder if he's like actually thinking of who is Batman at that moment too. Like,
right. Well,
this
because
is
Gordon even said like,
you, but who else are you?
Right. Yeah. Who else could you be? Yeah. Well, it's also like, well, what kind of, if Harvey was the Holiday, which is what Gordon's about to say, like the evidence is all there that points to it being Harvey.
Mm-hmm.
If he could be living that kind of life, then what kind of life is Batman living? So yeah, I get your point. He says, "My God, Harvey Dent is Holiday." Like he's putting it together, and Batman says nothing. And Gordon's like, "Okay, how long have you known?" And Batman just stands there and doesn't say anything.
He like looks away. Yeah.
And Gordon insists and yells at him like, "How long?" And he's like, "Look, I don't think that he was Holiday. I will not believe that. We all said that we weren't going to cross the line. I just cannot believe that he's Holiday." And Gordon is like, "Well, what if you're too close to this and your judgment is impaired, and what if you're wrong?" And Batman's like, "Well, what if I'm not wrong?" And Gordon just tells him like, "Well, you find Harvey and do what needs to be done."
It's always this do what needs to be done business.
Yeah, they're saying that an awful lot in this book.
They say it so much.
Batman goes to Falcone's penthouse. I just like the idea of like him showing up and being like, "Where's Dent?"
Right?
And Falcone's like, "How the hell should I know? That maniac killed my sister, my nephew, and my son." So Falcone thinks that Harvey Dent is Holiday as well.
Absolutely. Everybody's coming to the same conclusion.
Right. Falcone says, like, "You know what my people call this past year? The Long Halloween."
They said it.
Get the title drop. Yep. They said it. Ding, 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 ding. Carmine says, like, "You know, it could have stopped there with Johnny Vitti. He was the first one to die, but it didn't. And we both know why. You and the cops just let it continue because he was killing our people. Mia Famiglia. And you stand there and act like your hands are clean. And he's pointing his finger in Batman's face, which is never a good idea because Batman grabs his finger.
Yes.
And I think breaks it or like shoves him back.
I think he just shoves him back. Honestly,
Yeah, I
I was
think he just
expecting him to just like snap it backwards and then just like walk away.
Sophia runs in and she says, like, I thought I heard voices. And Carmine's like, no, I just stumbled. That's all. Why didn't he tell her that it was Batman? Is it just because he's like, look, I'm just having a conversation with my buddy Batman here. Like, don't worry about it. It's business. Like, I think that is what it is, right? Like, Carmine's like, I'm just telling him what's what. He fucked up and he knows he fucked up.
I think so.
Batman realizes Catwoman was watching again.
Of course,
so
because when is she not?
This is like the 8th time that this has happened.
She almost looks like Spider-Man, the way she's, crouching at the top of that building.
A little bit, yeah. They do
The
have a
eyes
similar
even?
crouching pose.
Yeah.
I'll give you that, definitely. She says, like, don't you ever say hello. And he's like, can you tell me the truth, please? Why
stop
why
having
does
these
this
games?
Why do we keep doing this? This is like the 8th time in this series that we've done this. And she's like, well, if you want to trade secrets, we can do this. And he's like, I don't want the schoolgirl act. Just tell me the truth. And he grabs her hand. And she's like, you're hurting me.
Yep.
And he lets go. And she's like, okay, fine. That's better. And she says, it's because the Roman treats the world like a ball of yarn. And you know how much cats like to unravel the ball of yarn. Whenever he's around, you're around. And maybe it's none of your damn business. And then she jumps off the ledge, and that's the end of that.
Yep.
So I think that's why in the 2022 movie, they make it so that she's his daughter, because, like, there's clearly some business here between Catwoman and the Falcons.
Absolutely.
Like, she's trying to get back at them, and that's, like, her point. Like, it's none of your business.
Right.
Meanwhile, at the home of Gilda and Harvey Dent, Gilda thinks she hears something, and she goes down to the basement, and she thinks it's Harvey.
But it's just Batman in the corner.
It's Batman. Standing menacingly behind the furnace.
Yes.
That they have to establish for the last page of the book. Where's your husband, Mrs. Dent? We found a gun.
Right.
There's a .22 caliber with the serial numbers filed off. It's the same sort of weapon he uses. And Gilda says he brought it home from the office. Batman goes like, well, in the grooves, there's a vise on your husband's workbench. There's tiny metal filings. There's gunmetal. Like,
so he didn't just bring it home.
And she just goes, please find him. So he goes back to Arkham Asylum. I like the implication.
Back to our Calendar Man.
Back to Calendar Man. I like the implication that he goes up to Calendar Man's big window box and asks tell me what you know. He like whispers it.
Tell me what you know.
Like, did he think that Calendar Man was sleeping or something? Because the light is off. Like, the implication is that the light that he like... The Calendar Man, like, turns the light switch on.
Yeah, I guess he does say it quieter. That's usually what the little dotted lines around it mean, huh?
Yeah, that he's whispering.
Tell me what you know.
Like, seductively, like, tell me what you know, Calendar Man.
Maybe he has to seduce the Calendar Man into talking to
know.
him. And Calendar Man's like, ooh, Batman.
Oh, Batman.
Tell me a date, Batman.
April 15th, because it's not too warm or too cold. I thought that you only liked the cat, but you like the calendar. Hang on, let me apply this lip gloss. So anyway, he starts saying 30 days past September and all this shit.
Yep.
He says, it's Labor Day, and he still eludes you, doesn't she? Batman says, we know it was Dent. We don't know where he is. You have to help me find him.
Harvey Dent, the Gemini. What are you doing?
The way that it's spelled out, it's supposed to be like Har versus Dent,
I think. Two-Face.
Yeah.
Harvey versus Dent.
Yeah.
I got you. Okay, that's fine. I like it. Never mind. Good job, Calendar Man.
Yep. Calendar Man says, like, the Calendar Man is being forgotten, and I can't have that. Only a few more hours before this holiday has passed. And you have something Holiday wants. Which leads us to the jail with Maroni in it. And Maroni is just laying on... It looks like he doesn't even have, like, a cot in jail. He has, like, a mattress on the ground.
It does kind of look that way. Maybe it's one of those, like, hanging ones where it's, like... like attached to the wall, but it just kind of juts out. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's the only thing I can
It looks
think.
like he's like on the ground. Yeah. We learned that the bailiffs shot him 3 times,
Apparently.
and they're telling him that they're moving him. So Gordon is moving him. They're moving him because this is what he learned from Calendar Man. So they're like making bait for
Yes.
Holiday to like come out.
Right.
Batman says that Gordon reminded him that he's heeding the advice of the madman in the hopes of catching another madman. But he's like, I have to find Harvey Dent. So they think that if Harvey is Holiday, this will bring out Holiday. And Maroni is walking through the like underground because that's like the way that they're going to like,
Yeah,
get
like through
him.
the tunnels. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Maroni says, I take 3 slugs in the courtroom and I'm still here, right? You guys could learn a thing or two about killing somebody, you know? And he says, after what you did to Harvey Dent, I almost think we should have let him have you. Maroni says, Dent coming after me? Is that why you're moving me? Let him come, that rat bastard. And as he says it, he gets shot twice in the head.
Yep.
The
Batman,
figure comes out. Yeah,
who was dressed up as a guard.
Yeah, is getting shot at, and then the light comes on, and they stop him. Gordon
Oh, I guess we
shines
don't know that yet.
Well, yeah, but I mean, because the Holiday shoots at the guard and like shoots him like 5 times, and then
Yes.
Gordon grabs a flashlight and shines it out on the Holiday. And who does it turn out to be, Rachel?
Alberto.
Yep, it turns out to be Alberto Falcone that entire time. So he
The only body not
fakes his
found.
death.
Technically.
Yes. Yeah, it wasn't found.
Well, I don't think they found the coroner's body either. I mean, it was dumped in the water. Maybe they did find it.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Maroni said there's probably a bunch of bodies in there, you know. And that is how Labor Day ends, with Maroni being shot and Alberto being found out as the Holiday killer.
Yes. With his purple
Which-
glasses.
Means that there's only really one crime lord member left, and that's Falcone. So you can see how as this series has progressed, it has gone from like the crime bosses are in charge, the freaks are the freaks, they're all in Arkham Asylum, they don't matter, the crime matters. And as this goes on, mob bosses lose their power dramatically, and the rogues gallery keeps getting built up. The power is shifting in Gotham.
Yes. Right.
Rachel, we have come to the last chapter of The Long Halloween. What is it called?
A Dark Knight Halloween special. Punishment. In 13 parts.
Yeah, it's not called Halloween. It is because the first chapter was called Crime. This one is called Punishment.
Right. Oh, Crime and Punishment. Oh, there you go.
Rachel didn't realize that until now.
I didn't.
But we're back to Halloween time. Well,
Right.
actually, it picks up right where it left off at Labor Day. What is the cover look like?
The cover is of a jack-o'-lantern. One side being, a normal jack-o'-lantern. The other side,
I didn't get
rotten.
that. Okay.
yes, and full of
All right.
worms and maggots and all of that. Two-faced, if you will.
Yes. Okay. I didn't get that. All right.
What'd you think it was?
I thought it was just a rotting jack-o'-lantern. I was going to
mean, it
say it
is.
was like a Halloween sequel, but I didn't realize that it's like, oh, it's doing the Two-Face thing.
Right, yeah. Because I think, but to your point, this is like all about Harvey Dent and Two-Face.
It's a Harvey Dent story.
It
It's
100%
absolutely
is.
a Harvey Dent story.
I thought when I heard about Long Halloween, I honestly thought it was mostly the Joker and Batman. I didn't know it
Sure.
was like Joker had like nothing to do with it.
Joker is barely in it, yeah. It's really more of a Harvey Dent story and a Falcone story too.
Oh, right,
Like it's a
yes.
mob story, like the noir side of it, but if it's the character that it really is about more than anything is Harvey Dent.
Absolutely.
Which is why we're doing it around Halloween. The face that this one starts with is Alberto's face with his purple sunglasses. Or purple glasses or
And
whatever
his purple
it is.
eyes.
And purple eyes, yeah. And he says, I am Holiday. Batman says Calendar Man was right. We had something the Holiday killer wanted, which was Maroni.
Mm-hmm.
Now Maroni is dead, and Holiday has claimed another victim. And he's going to shoot Gordon, I think, but then the guard comes out and it turns out to be Batman. Yeah. I don't know how Batman put, like, the cowl and everything on underneath this suit.
I mean, he has so many layers on right now. It's ridiculous. That has to be incredibly uncomfortable.
But he punches out Alberto. Dun, dun. And he says, this is only the beginning.
Right. You know, death is only the beginning.
Yeah, death, yes. First of all, Batman, death is only the beginning. Thank you, Rachel.
You're welcome.
How did you feel about the twist when you learned that Alberto was Holiday, Rachel?
I was okay with it.
Yeah?
I was like, oh, okay. Like, I could see it.
Did it make sense to you?
Yes. Because he seemed, like, scorned at the beginning and, like, throughout until his own death. And that was, like, his red herring was, oh, look, I'm dead, too. And then I was like, okay, I got you. Sure. That's fine. Right?
That's fine. Yeah. I was fine with that, too. Like, you have to kind of explain a little bit of, like, okay, how did he get away with his own death?
Oh,
and where
sure.
has he been for 9 months?
Right.
But it makes sense because we've seen him want to be part of the family business, and he's almost resentful and thinks that his dad doesn't respect him or care about him because he's not, where he's wrong, but because he's misinterpreted that, now he's like, I'm taking everybody down. I'm getting rid of. I'm showing them what I could have been.
Right. What I could have been.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The city coroner confirmed his death. I went to the grave myself. The city coroner confirmed his death.
See?
And yet here we are. Yeah, so
he's
I
dead
think that's why they're
too.
saying. Yep. Yeah. So he must have paid off the city coroner to say that he was dead.
And that was my point earlier, where I was just like, well, he could have been in there. I
thought they never found his body. So I think that's weird. And this also starts off with saying, like, Carmine the Rome Falcone, Gotham City's untouchable crime lord, which, like, now here it's almost like ironic that he's calling him the untouchable crime lord because everyone else is gone except for Carmine now.
Right.
And Sophia. Sophia's not dead either.
Yeah, she's good. Maybe Alberto likes Sophia. Maybe she's, like, the only one who's ever nice to him.
Well, it is his sister, yeah.
Yeah.
He thought it was Harvey Dent, but he was wrong. Batman is punching the fuck out of him.
Oh my god, yes.
He's doing that. I'm trying to think of, like, I'm trying to think of, like, the best example of this, but, like, I always think of, or can remember, like, in Game of Thrones when, like, Jon Snow's, like, beating the shit out of Ramsay Bolton, or, like, I think that there's a couple of superhero ones, like, even Spider-Man, I think, does
do
this,
it a lot where they just start punching and punching and punching, and they either need somebody to stop them or, you know, something to snap them out of it. And
Batman's doing this because he's just like, for a fucking year, you have ruined Gotham City, you have ruined all the work, and my friend Harvey Dent, like, all of this stuff that has been ruined because of this guy. So he's, like, just taking it out on him. And Gordon stops him and says, enough. I don't want you to do something that we'll both regret. So Batman stops because he says that he made a promise to his parents.
And then says the same line that we keep hearing, just do what needs to be done.
Yes, we just keep hearing that. So they arrest Alberto, and the newspapers say that the Holiday Killer was caught. So then days later, he gets a visitor, and they say, Falcone, you have a visitor. And he goes, Holiday. Like, he wants to be referred to as Holiday. I like this giant cast that he has on his arms, because Batman broke his arms.
Right.
So it's Carmine, and he comes in and he hugs Alberto.
Mm-hmm. And he's like, my son. And of course, it's his favorite son and everything.
And Gordon is like, how did I not realize that it was him? And Batman's thinking the same thing. Batman thinks Alberto couldn't have done this alone. His father had to have known that it was not his son in that grave. Which, again...
They didn't have a body. I thought they didn't have a body. So I'm so confused.
Falcone says that he can get a pair of those sunglasses that he likes, the purple ones. And Alberto says he doesn't want anything or need anything. And Carmine
I like how he's
says,
just like, I'm going to get you those little purple glasses you like.
Yeah, because he's like a doting father on this kid. He's like, I don't care.
Even though you killed our family, it's fine. It's fine.
You murdered all of the family. I don't care. And he's like, I can get you out of here. Just plead guilty to killing Maroni and only Maroni, and I can fix that. But you need to tell them all of this nonsense about Holiday go. Like, he's like, don't say that you're Holiday. Just say that you were killing Maroni, like, pretending to be Holiday.
Right.
And Alberto gets offended and says, nonsense. Do you even know when my birthday is? I'll
Yep.
give you a hint. And he stands up and he says, it is on a holiday. Is it Christmas? New Year's? Father's Day? And he starts like having a fit. Because I think this is, again, where it's like, even though Carmine does love Alberto, he didn't treat him the way that Alberto thought he should have been treated.
Yes.
And
right.
Carmine clearly neglected him because he doesn't know his birthday. He doesn't respond.
Right. He probably doesn't know anybody's birthday. I think he neglected all of his children, but yeah, it's true.
He does say it was February 14th, though. It was Valentine's Day. So
with the day that he was murdered.
Valentine's Day. Bummer. No, he was murdered on New Year's Day, I think.
Oh, his was New Year's. It was Valentine's Day. Yeah, because it was on the boat for New Year's. You're right.
The car explosion.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because it was the Valentine's Day massacre. So he says that he wouldn't know. He had business to attend to every single year. And Carmine says, well, I thought that you understood. And Alberto says, I do understand, Papa. That's why you sent me away to Oxford. You didn't want my help even when I offered. You didn't want me in the family business. You and your father and his father before that. You thought that Gotham City was synonymous with organized crime. But Gotham City has changed. It doesn't want your kind anymore. Now look at me. I'm bigger than all of you put together. I am Holiday. I like that explanation, though.
Yeah.
That he's like, I'm bigger than crime now. Like,
right.
I terrorized this city for a year, including you and all of the mobsters.
Absolutely. It was a good reasoning.
Mm-hmm. And Batman still thinks that the Roman must have known. It's now Halloween, and people are trick-or-treating again at
we're back
Gilda
to
and
it.
Darby's house. So they still haven't found Harvey, but it is Halloween night.
Right.
Barbara
I feel like she would just lock up the doors and...
Yeah, at this point I'd be like,
why are you putting out decorations?
Only, I guess if you're just trying to like live some sort of semblance of
she's
like life.
all alone.
Yeah, it's yeah. So Jim and Barbara come up with little Jimmy, and
as a clown.
He's a clown. I would have loved if he looked more like the Joker.
Yes.
Or more like one of the Joker's like henchmen. He almost kind of does, but yeah, little Jimmy's like a clown. And they greet because they say they haven't seen Barbara and Gilda in a long time, haven't seen each other, so they like come in the house. And she says, like, you can't imagine what it's like every time that doorbell rings, and it's just the kids who just want their fucking candy. And all I want is my Harvey. To your point, Rachel, stop ringing the bell.
Yeah, I mean, just like disconnect it, turn the lights off, something.
We cut to Arkham Asylum, and we see that all of the doors have been opened.
That's right.
The Identity Unknown, which I think is the Joker's door, Jonathan Crane, Pamela Isley.
See, they each have a name.
Gone.
They all have their little name that they got to do at arts and crafts.
And the Calendar Man is standing there in the dark, and a coin flips, and it lands. You can tell it's like the outline of Two-Face. It's like Harvey Dent's outline, and he stands there and he goes, "Sorry." So
he doesn't let him out.
He doesn't let out Calendar Man, and Calendar Man's all upset about it.
Yes.
Meanwhile, at the Roman's penthouse, Falcone is having a meltdown.
Absolute fit. Yep.
He's in the kitchen just like destroying wine bottles and shit. He's just going crazy. He's really ruining their Halloween dinner, which I'm sure is a thing, right? Like do people have Halloween dinners where they like make spooky stuff for Halloween?
Maybe. Oh, sure. Why not? That would be kind of fun.
Folks at home, let's make that into a tradition. I don't know what the hell it would be. I'm sure it's just pumpkin something or
something with like sauce so it looks
apples.
like well, that's like all the fun stuff. But then you could have like a spaghetti sauce, because it could have like
these
the red.
are her eyes.
Exactly.
And these were her brains. It's sad that our only references are to The Simpsons and Arthur. So,
yeah, our only references, not the really, really crazy stuff that I've been referencing.
Considering
lately.
I had to explain a reference about 20 minutes ago. Carmine says that he's going to go to the gas chamber and he could have stopped everything, just lamenting the fact that Alberto does not want to be saved.
Yeah.
You see Vine
Yep.
climb over the railing and like wrap up a couple of these gangsters, and some laughing gas catch a couple of these other gangsters, and then all the lights turn off.
Yep. Now we're in a horror. This works for Halloween.
Well, it's Halloween, yeah. So like
Right.
now the lights are off, and Carmine whispers to Sophia and goes, "Sophia, I want everybody downstairs now." So they all are walking down the hallways. The lighting in this, again, it's not sepia, but it's like
This one's more just
brown?
like it's like an orangey yellow,
yeah, like a
like a
I said,
really
almost a
muted
brown.
tone. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's just like wherever the light is coming from, so we're at least being able to like see what's happening because it's dark.
Mhm. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's just so that we can see what's going on, because all of the guys have been killed by the laughing gas. Window gets kicked in, and inside Carmine's office are the rogues gallery of Batman. It is all of them, from the Mad Hatter to Solomon Grundy. The Joker is there, Two-Face is there, Penguin is there,
Penguin
Poison
is there.
Ivy.
Penguin didn't even get any part of this.
Yeah, I feel like, was there like
He was gypped.
something cut out with Penguin?
I
'Cause
feel like there could have been something with the penguin. I'm kind of upset that there wasn't.
this Penguin looks like it's a little person too.
Yeah, he's,
this
like,
Penguin is
tiny.
drawn very strange. Like, it took me a while to realize it was Penguin.
And that he's standing on the desk because like
yeah,
him and the Mad Hatter are both the same size and they're very small.
yeah,
They're very child-sized.
yeah. Speaking of like little people penguins, Peter Dinklage as the Penguin,
Ooh.
that'd be pretty good.
That would be good.
I would enjoy that.
I'd
He-
like
he would,
that.
He'd be a good Penguin.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I
it
could,
is
I
a
could
two-
see him doing it.
We'll see how Colin Farrell does as the Penguin
I
in
didn't
that
realize
series.
that was happening.
hmm
All right then.
Yeah, yeah. They're on Max, I think. There's a Penguin series.
Oh, okay. Sure.
So it's a 2-page spread, and the Joker with his giant.
Even Catwoman is there?
Yes.
I thought that was weird.
Why?
I don't know. I guess it makes sense, but I also wouldn't put her with all of them.
I don't think she would be associated with all of them either, except for the fact that if Dent finds her and says,
Oh, sure.
I'm taking out Falcone,"
Yeah, I could
she's
see
going
that.
to want to do it.
That's fine. That's fair. I'll allow it.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator. So Falcone is like, "What is this?" And we get another "What needs to be done." It's like the 30th time I think they've said that. It's a
Seriously.
noir. They
It's
repeat
half the time. It's like
lines.
more than once in every chapter.
Yeah, I think it's in every chapter it's said, because it's a noir.
Of
It needs to be
course.
said. All the same lines repeat themselves constantly in every chapter, and in every chapter they mean something different.
That's
it's actually
true.
kind of clever if
I
you go
like
back
it.
and reread it, because like, yeah, it gives that to you in the sense of like that nice narrative style of like what these words and lines mean to each of the different characters, and you could easily write a paper about this book.
Oh,
I think.
I think so. I agree with that.
Carmine says, "The hell is that supposed to mean?" And Harvey goes, "How much longer did you think I would let the Falcone family tear Gotham City in half, splitting the city between good and evil?"
My city.
And it's the first time we get to see Harvey, and he's got the Two-Face look to him.
Yes.
It's a very traditional Two-Face look, even to the point where he's got like a glove on the bad hand, and
right.
the suit is different. He's fully embraced the fact that he has now lost it.
Absolutely. Yeah, he kind of went just totally crazy with this one.
He says that he's got the .22 caliber gun, the perfect weapon to kill him with, and Joker says to do it. Then we'll decide who gets this city. So he's planning to like, okay, get rid of Carmine, and then we'll all fight amongst ourselves.
Absolutely.
And Carmine says, "I would burn it all down before I let a freak have it." Which I kind of like too. Like, Carmine's got his principles of like, no, you are all insane. Like,
Right.
I at least have a reputable, illegitimate business here. You people just want to be crazy.
And cause chaos through the streets.
Yeah, everyone just loses their minds. But before anything else can happen, a smoke bomb goes through. "Meow," says Catwoman, and a flashbang goes off. Dun, 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 dun. Hang on, let me see if I can come up with a better Batman theme.
I was like, okay, uh-huh.
Da, 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 da. Here comes Batman.
Yes.
And he comes in, he punches Joker in the face. It all goes, it's the black and white style that all the holiday killings were, but it's more like a fog as well.
Right.
And so it's very, very shadowy. It's very, very gray. It almost looks like they like stenciled it a million times over.
Mm-hmm.
I like the style for this particular fight, which isn't as much of a fight as it is Batman just beating the shit out of his rogues gallery.
Yes, and just like collecting them all.
Yeah, he clobbers Joker a couple of times. In fact, he gets Poison Ivy into a net. He nets up Solomon Grundy too, and Mad Hatter. And then he throws a battering and hits Scarecrow when faced with a seemingly insurmountable problem. Your only option is to act swiftly. Some might even say irrationally, removing the most dangerous elements first, and methodically attacking each subsequent challenge in a separate but deliberate manner.
So we have Poison Ivy being one of the more dangerous elements, and then you have the Mad Hatter and Penguin netted together when he says, and then do the other ones methodically.
Well, he does. The last one he does is Catwoman, because he's like Solomon Grundy, the Joker, Poison Ivy, the Penguin, Mad Hatter, Scarecrow. Like, that's the order that he takes them out in. Yes. And then he goes, Catwoman? And she's like, yep, that's me.
Whose side you on?
He fears that in rebuffing her advances, is she, like, not on his side anymore? And she just goes, I'm on the same side I'm always on. Like,
which is her
I'm on
side.
My own side. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we get, like, the 60s looking Batman.
You think so? That face is, like, 60s looking, you think?
The eyes, like, he has, like, the jack-o'-lantern triangle eyes.
Yeah,
and, like, the look on, like, his mouth, and he's like, Harvey? Like,
I think it's just, like, a traditional, like, I feel like it's, like, an older school comic
it looks like a very old school Batman to me.
Yeah.
It's just, like, his eyes, like, I don't know. It just looks funny.
Yeah. No, I'll give that to you. And Harvey says, the courts send them back to prison or to Arkham and they escape. And we have the same problem again and again and again. So Batman says, yeah, Harvey. And Two-Face goes, Harvey is gone. Two-Face is more like it, don't you think? And Batman says, if you pull that trigger, how are you any different from the Roman? Two-Face goes, that's Jim Gordon talking. You know how this works. Justice can be decided at a flip of a coin.
And he flips his coin.
He changed the two-headed coin, so now he scratched the X in it. So now it's no longer a two-headed coin. It's got a tails to it as well. Kind of wish that there was like a page or two to explain the two-headed coin. We know he got it from his dad, but like, is there some sort of symbolism in that? More so than what it ends up being?
Sure.
I like how Dark Knight... I like how Dark Knight explains it as, like, it's my lucky coin, and I always flip it, but I always know that what the outcome is going to be. So it's not really like... It's not like he's trying to make his own luck. He knows what the outcome is going to be, so he always bets on himself.
Exactly. Right.
Gives him a nice white knight narrative. And this, you don't necessarily get that. You'd have to imply it yourself.
Yes.
We get the 2 shots to the head again, because he shoots Falcone twice, and he has completed his descent into...
And he says the same line he said it the first time somebody got shot. If you ask me, it couldn't have happened to a nicer guy.
Sophia is distraught, shouts Papa, sees him. She goes to attack him, but Catwoman stops her and says, it's finished. What's done is done. And she scratches Sophia's face in the same manner that Carmine's face was scratched.
And she just tries to stop her, but then
just
Sophia,
trying to stop her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Goes
and
out
she says,
the freaking window.
Yeah, she says, like, I'll kill you. And, like, Catwoman says, don't, Sophia. And she's like, no, I'll kill. And she says, like, don't. And Sophia, like, falls presumably to her death.
I would assume it's at the top of a skyscraper, so...
But I'm assuming, like, this is a setup for, like, Sophia being the new crime lord.
With
for
the
scratches. Family. With the scratch, it sets it up. Yeah. There is a sequel to this, so maybe one day we'll read that. I wonder if, like, she's in it.
I'm curious.
And it implies that Catwoman knows Sophia.
Yes, it absolutely did, because she just tried to stop her. No, don't worry about it. It wasn't like just knock her out and move her to the side. It was like I'm trying to talk to you.
Right. Batman and Harvey are still talking to each other, and Batman says, you still believe in Gotham City. You were married here. You wanted to start a family. If nothing else, think of Gilda. And that stops Two-Face, and he goes, Gilda? And he goes, give me the gun, Harvey. And then Harvey just, which I think he says in The Dark Knight too, is give me the gun, Harvey, is the exact same line.
Probably.
And Two-Face goes, nice try, and hits him with it. I feel like this shouldn't have knocked out Batman for as long as it did.
Yeah, I don't think it should have either.
You know, like...
it doesn't make any
Batman.
sense. It's very odd that, like, one little pistol whip would have been like, yep, that's it. Now he's knocked out. Like, okay.
Yeah. If anything, he should have, like, shot Batman and then knocks him out or something. I don't know. But, like, that pistol whip should not have taken
a bit more of
Batman
a tussle.
Out. Yeah. Mm-hmm. This takes us across town, and we were wrong. Yes. Rachel Vernon does get his comeuppance.
I knew it.
You were right. You were right.
Yes.
I forgot about this. Working late again, Vernon. And he tells him that, like, you have to answer for your crimes against Harvey Dent because somebody knew that this was going to happen. Somebody knew.
Mm-hmm.
And you believe in the justice system, don't you, Vernon? You didn't spend all those years in law school for nothing, right? Then you know justice has two sides. Innocent or guilty. Like this coin. So Vernon goes, please don't kill me, Mr. Dent. And Harvey flips the coin.
Easily.
And
just kills him.
The next page shows that Vernon is dead with a gushing amount of blood on this
it's
table.
A head wound. It makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it is a crazy amount of blood. And Harvey left the gun and left the coin.
Mm-hmm.
He's actually just on the roof of the police station. So, like, he didn't even leave. He just went to the roof. And he's actually wiping the blood off of his hands, which I guess is symbolic as well.
He's washing his hands of it.
Right. That is what he is. He's washing his hands. He's cleaning his hands of it. He's looking over and he says, I killed twice tonight. I did what needed to be done for now. And Batman says, why?
I did what needed to be done.
But Batman's like, you can't convince me that you needed to do that. There's always a better way.
Right.
And Gordon comes up and says, like, what happened to you? Harvey says, there won't be any judges. No witnesses will disappear. The Roman is dead. I killed him. The long Halloween is over. And it's a parallel to the first chapter of the three of them making their pact with each other. It's the same framing and everything, absolutely. Except now it's clearly like Two-Face and they're all just standing there. Batman says that he wants to get him help. And Two-Face says, you're the ones who are going to need help from now on. I guess because he's saying, like, it's like, I've accidentally escalated it now. Like, I got rid of Carmine, but now...
But now all the freaks are...
Now all the rogues are going to try to take over the city.
Yes.
Like, there's a power vacuum now.
Mm-hmm.
Harvey, you betrayed everything you believe in. And Harvey says, not everything. Arrest me, Jimbo. And he puts his arms out to be arrested. Question.
Okay.
Would you have liked it in The Dark Knight if it ended this way? Not, I haven't betrayed everything. Arrest me. Versus the ending where it's like Jim and Batman covering it up for like the good of the city. I guess we'll get to that when we get to Dark Knight. Because it's very, very similar to that ending.
It's very similar. But, I mean, the problem with the movie is that they couldn't continue on with more Two-Face, and that upset me. It was like, really? I feel like this should have been... They could have kept him alive.
Two-Face for the third one, yeah. I completely agree with that. But we'll get there one day.
I probably would have preferred this, but...
Yeah. Harvey then just goes, wait, well, one second. You both know, don't you? There were 2 holiday killers. And Gordon's like, what does that mean? So then later on, Gordon asks, what do you think he meant? There were 2 holiday killers because Alberto confessed to all of them, and he's going to the gas chamber. And Batman's like, well, he was obsessed with the number 2, which we don't really ever get that.
Yeah, but, like, where did that come from? But all right, thanks.
Where did we... All right.
Hey, Batman.
That came
Pulling
out
of your ass.
Mm-hmm. And he says, well, we'll never know for sure, but tonight was Halloween.
Oh, I guess the 2 shots to everybody's head. I don't know.
Maybe. I guess that's supposed to be a clue. I guess that was supposed to be a clue, maybe.
Maybe.
But then he says that tonight was Halloween. Harvey Dent killed the Roman with a 22. It's the last holiday murder. So in the end, Harvey Dent was Holiday too. He killed somebody from the Falcone family.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the book should have ended.
It could have ended there, yes.
Well, actually, this next page would have been fine too. Batman asks, was it worth it? And Gordon says, And Batman says, the promise that we made to bring down the Roman, was it worth it? It cost us Harvey. And Gordon says, if you're asking me, did the good guys win? Yes, the good guys won, Batman. And Batman leaves. And Gordon says, but I won't know if it was worth it for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
So Jim is consoling his baby.
I think he's just holding him.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Like, he's, like, rocking him, like, if he woke up or something.
Right.
And Barbara comes in and says, I heard Harvey Dent was arrested. I'm so sorry. She asks James, like, what are you going to do now? And Gordon
what needs
says,
to be done? I mean,
that's what you
I
expected
have
to say.
to.
Yeah. He says, I believe in Gotham City.
Right.
And then the last page is of Batman, and he's like, I made a promise. I believe. And he says all this stuff about, like, you know, I believe someday. Rachel, you do the words, and I'll do the score, or vice versa.
I made a promise to my parents that I would rid the city of evil that took their lives, no matter what that evil looks like or becomes. I believe someday I will make good on that promise. I have to. I believe in Batman.
That should have been the end of the book. That should have been it.
But now it goes to Thanksgiving.
It kind of goes to Christmas.
Yeah. Well, it first goes to Thanksgiving, and you have Alberto and the Calendar Man talking and just saying different holidays together.
I don't have that.
Oh.
Do you have that?
Yeah, I do. So I have, he's going Groundhog Day, and he goes Ash Wednesday, Secretary's Day, Earth Day, Flag Day, Boxing Day, Calendar Man, Holiday.
Yeah. See, I have that as an outtake.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And then it goes to Arkham Asylum Christmas Eve, Gilda.
Okay, all right. See, I just have that as an outtake.
Oh, they just left it in. Looking at.
Where it's asking, like, whatever happened to Alberto? Left sentenced to die in the last chapter, it was interpreted to give the character his epilogue. However, going over the final pages of The Long Halloween, the epilogue seemed better suited for the lead characters, Gordon, Batman, Harvey, and Gilda, and Alberto's fate would be left both to the reader's imagination and for a story another day. This double-page spread also shows a rare first encounter between the Calendar Man and Holiday, a grisly pairing to say the least. So the scene would have appeared between pages 364 and 365 in this collection. But yeah, your version, Rachel, has it in there again. That's interesting.
It does. Yeah, it's like they just kind of plopped it in instead.
All right. Well, there you go.
All
okay,
right.
So Harvey is in the insane asylum. He's just saying Gilda, and then it's Christmas Eve. Gilda is packing. She's leaving town. She's getting the hell out of there. But she did what needed to be done.
What needed to be done. Do you remember you promised we would finally have time together when you didn't have so much work to do? And then she's just taking every piece that you know is the holidays and throwing it into the furnace.
I thought if I did that, Batman would think it was someone extraordinary and not me. Those clues left at the murder scenes, not me. I used your hat and coat for disguise and left those things at the killings. Johnny Vitti was the first. Then again on Thanksgiving, I left the hospital while you slept. And then again on Christmas. But when Alberto Falcone was shot on New Year's, and you came home late that night, your hair was wet, even though you were wearing a hat. I found the gun in the basement. You told me it was evidence, but I knew. You had the same idea as me. You picked up where I left off, so we could have time together. A child. A secret. Let them think it was Alberto. No one will ever find out, because they don't have you to help. You are my Apollo. You can do no wrong. I believe in Harvey Dent. And the last page of the book is Gilda, like, packing up and, like, throwing the rest of the holiday stuff away.
Yes. Exactly.
And that's the end of the story. Mm-hmm. So the implication there is that Gilda was the holiday.
Yeah.
And that from Alberto on, it was Harvey. Rachel, do you have any opinions on this twist on top of the twist?
It felt
otherwise
weird.
I will give you mine.
No, go ahead. I want you to give me it. and I'll see what I feel. I don't know. I thought it was a little weird, but go on.
This is fucking stupid.
Yeah.
So I gotta be honest with you. I like I said, I read this book like 15 years ago, or probably more at this point. I don't remember. I didn't remember this last page. I did not remember that there was a twist on top of the twist. I don't know if I blinked it out of my mind because I thought that was stupid. That's not in my head canon, or what.
Sure.
I'm sure that there's a many people that love this twist and think that it's very narratively fitting and everything. I don't. I don't think this makes any sense if you take it in a very literal fashion to be that Gilda is the holiday killer.
That she's been doing this from the beginning.
That she's that good of a shot. That
right.
she's that calculating and cold that she could do this. All in the name so that Harvey doesn't work so hard so that they can start a family, which is so beyond crazy.
Oh yeah, she's nuts. She's just as nuts as he is.
And that I guess she didn't realize any of this because he's been so here's how I can salvage this.
Okay.
So in one scenario you can say she is absolutely crazy. It was Alberto the entire time. Harvey just happened to have evidence in the house, and she's just burning all of his files.
Okay.
And she's just like thinking in her head, like, we would have been better off if it was the two of us versus it just being Alberto, because it resolved nothing. If it was us, then we could have just gotten this done and we could have lived together and we would have been happy, even though we would have like had this secret of being like serial killers.
Right.
We could have lived our lives, and now we can't do that because it was just Alberto at the end of the day. That's what I want it to be.
And you think like she was thinking that she was doing it because she was like knowing all the stories and kept reading his files? She was thinking she was
doing it, yeah, because she knew all of it, and she was thinking she was doing it. It's a metaphor.
And that Harvey was doing it.
In her mind, it was Harvey, like,
and she was helping him.
Yeah. And they just kept entrenching themselves in this and becoming obsessed with this, rather than being able to move on with their lives. So in that way, she was the holiday, like they were the holiday killers because like it became an obsession, and they couldn't get away from it. Interesting. Maybe you can get that out of it instead.
Kinda.
Because the other way that you can look at it is, no, she did start doing this because she killed Johnny, and then she killed the Irish. Why?
Yeah, I don't...
Why would she kill the Irish?
It doesn't...
I can kind of understand killing Johnny Vitti if you want to say, like, well, if you kill Johnny Vitti, that'll start the tumble of the Roman Empire, and then Harvey won't be so obsessed with this. But it doesn't make sense to kill the Irishman. And then it really makes it hard to believe that she's so good at this that she can do the 2 shots to the head thing every single time.
And then she gave it a gimmick.
I truly do not believe.
It feels weird. And then like why would Alberto be like so like, ooh, I want to be the holiday,
well, that's
and it fits so well with his stuff? Like he has to actually be the holiday too. So like maybe half of what she did was her and half of it was Alberto. And she thought she was doing it with Harvey, but it was actually her doing it with Alberto.
Yeah. That's a plausible way to look at it, because I don't think Harvey was doing it at all.
No, I think he only killed the 2 men at the end.
Yeah. And I think Alberto, if you want to go with that version, I think Alberto faked his own death and took advantage of it.
Absolutely.
And then started using this as a way to become the holiday.
Right.
If you want to look at it that way. And then Gilda thought it was Harvey, so she just stopped.
Right.
But this idea
I think that's more so what it is.
That it was Gilda and Harvey is so bizarre. And it would, if you went with that interpretation that it really was Harvey that started doing it, or Gilda and then Harvey took it over, it really shifts the arc for Harvey from being Apollo, from being the White Knight, to this deranged, unstable, disfigured psycho.
Right.
because that means that he was always a psycho.
Which I
And then
kind of was in this, though. So, I mean, obviously red herring, but still, he never admits to being the Holiday, ever. Not
but he
ever.
never denies it
All
either.
he says is, there were two.
There were two. Yeah, so maybe he knew that it was Gilda.
I think he knew it was Gilda, and he was trying to save her.
So that's also a possibility. I think it
was only Gilda and Alberto.
And I could live with that. I really would prefer if it was just Alberto, and there's some way
not Gilda
that it's more
at all.
of a metaphor, and it's not Gilda, because it just doesn't make a lot of sense.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things, narratively, they're just trying to say the person you would least suspect.
I know.
Right? She's so small. She's a woman, yada yada.
I wonder what people think about this. Like, folks at home, please let me know what you think about this ending, because for me, it really was just like, really? That seems like it's a twist for the sake of it, is what it feels like.
Oh,
almost.
sure. It does feel like a twist just to make another twist, but that's also just very noirish. But I'm actually okay with it more now that I've like said it out loud, where it's her and Alberto, and she didn't do all of them, but she did a couple of them, thinking she was helping Harvey.
She got the ball rolling, and then it became bigger than herself, so she almost had to stop doing it. I just want to know how
Alberto's the one who killed the Irishman.
Off.
You know, like that's what happened.
Yeah, so she did the one thinking it would help Harvey, and then it snowballed, and
yeah, and I think she may have done another, maybe 2 or 3, but I think it was mostly Alberto going, I'm going to take this to my advantage, and I'm going to use their gimmick. And then he went nuts and just kind of like absorbed the Holiday.
Well, because his reasoning for wanting to do it and for wanting to bring down the family, it makes so much more sense.
Absolutely.
It's so much clearer and is more fulfilling narratively, I feel, than it being Gilda. It just doesn't make a lot of sense for it to be Gilda.
Yeah.
Now, I could be wrong about that. Maybe my opinion here is not consensus. Maybe I'm being contrarian or something, or maybe I'm missing it. Maybe I'm missing the deep theme of it being Gilda. But to me, I can headcanon it a little bit, but it was not Harvey. It never was Harvey. I
don't think it was ever Harvey.
Was not it.
Yeah.
And they do the little hints of it too by saying, like, because Calendar Man always is saying she and he.
Exactly.
So at the end, you're supposed to go, okay, it was Harvey and Gilda. But
part of me wonders now if if the Calendar Man knew when one or the other was actually doing the killing. Like, if it was really, like, obvious to him. Because he's like, look at the way this one was done, and look at the way this one was done, yada, yada.
I think that it is implying that Calendar Man could figure this out, yeah.
Yeah.
That is the end. We find out that maybe it was Gilda and Harvey.
No.
Or
it was Gilda and Alberto. I don't think they ever say it was Harvey.
Well, she thinks it was.
She thinks it was Harvey, but Harvey never says it was. You are like on top of that, but Harvey never says
he never says
killed
I was...
2 people. He killed 2 people to do what had to be done. And there were 2 holidays.
Batman thinks it was that he was saying it because he was the second holiday that
exactly.
Did the... Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there. I don't think it was ever Harvey. I don't even think they're implying it was Harvey. Gilda's nuts. It was also Alberto. That's what I'm going with.
So that is the end of the Long Halloween, closing the chapter on the crime syndicate of Gotham and opening up this new era. All right, 13 issues, a long Halloween there, Rachel.
Yeah, a long Halloween.
We have come to that part of the show where I will ask you, does the Long Halloween have shelf life?
So this was the first time I read the book. I've said it earlier, and I think I've said this before, but I do enjoy a noir. I liked all of like those aspects of this. I liked that I knew the characters, well, most of the characters, and I found it intriguing and interesting, and I did want to keep reading it to see like what was going to happen next. The ending, now I feel a little bit better about it, as convoluted as it felt when I first read it, and I went, huh, that's weird.
Didn't see that come.
But it wasn't even like a, oh, good, oh, they got me. I didn't see that coming. It was like a, why?
Yeah,
but now I feel a little bit better about it. I think I would put this on the shelf. I'm going to put the Halloween on the shelf.
Okay.
Or the Long Halloween.
How would you describe it as, like, frequency of reading, or like what would people get out of it? How do you think people would enjoy it, or any recommendation on that kind of front?
Well, you kind of have to like the noirish side of Batman. It's not going to be so it's you're not going to get full Batman. This is only noir side, the detective side, which is very interesting and very fun. I think it can just kind of like pull you in, and it's very intriguing. I like the art style. I like all the colors that they use and kind of how that represents different pieces. Frequency wise, I probably wouldn't say like super frequent.
Sure. It's a book.
Right.
You're gonna read it less.
It's a book. It's a comic book. And since you kind of like know the twist at this point, I guess like every, few years or whatever.
Once in a while. Yeah.
Yeah, once in a while I would pick it back up though. And I would say, yeah, here, read this one. This one's interesting. This one's kind of fun.
Yeah.
It's
kind of fun. Yeah. So it's on the shelf for Rachel.
I'm going to put it on the shelf.
Well, the first time that I read this, and I knew that The Dark Knight was influenced by this book a bit, I assumed, just like you did, Rachel, that it's called The Long Halloween. We know that the Rogues Gallery's in it. It's going to be about like all of these villains coming after Batman. Maybe it's the first time that they're all like coming out of the woodwork or whatever. That's what I expected it to be. So when it turned out to be a crime novel, noir, I was like, all right, this was completely different than what I expected.
Yes, same.
But I do think that, for the most part, a lot of the Batman comic books, Batman is a detective in them a lot, more so than that like ninja side or the action side or the chase scenes and those kind of things. So, yeah, you'll have to understand that it has a noir style to it, where there's a lot of repeated dialogue, there's a lot of repeated framing. Every chapter has the same beats. It's just, it progresses slightly differently. It shows you the three sides of Batman's doing this. Jim Gordon does it this way. Harvey Dent does it this way. Carmine Falcone does it this way.
Right.
And showing you all how they all celebrate the different holidays and how they all do this. Live their lives differently based on the circumstances around them. And that's very deliberate. And I like that. I think that it is composed very well. I think everything in this book is composed very well except for the very, very last twist, which I don't like that twist.
I know.
But I can get over it. I think that there's ways that you can get around it, or you can headcanon it yourself, or you can
stop reading when she gets on the
when
page.
Batman's done, yeah. Or even the idea of it being ambiguous. I think that you can feed into ambiguity into it. Spoiler alert for those of you that clicked to the end to just see if we had it on our shelf or not. Now go back and listen to the walkthrough. For me, yeah, I've got the trade back, but I went over the story of why I have the trade back. But I think it does have shelf life. I think it's a very good story. I like the pacing of it. I like the way that it goes through all the holidays. I like the idea of the Gotham crime stuff. I was a little like, oh, it's just a crime book. But going back to it and being a little, older or whatever, now I'm like, oh no, I like the Gotham crime stuff. I like Batman having to like stop this regular street crime, and like, how does that work?
Right.
So yeah, for me, I am with you. I believe that it has shelf life. I will keep this on my shelf. It will be read every once in a while too. And there is a movie version. I heard that they changed the ending of the movie.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I don't think people love that movie. Split reviews on it. I have not watched it.
Well, now
so
I have
one
to,
day I'll see what it's like. Yeah. But as far as the book goes, it does have shelf life. Anything else, Rachel, to add?
Well, we did what had to be done.
We did do what had to be done. That is correct, which is going
and
through.
We will continue to do what has to be done.
That's right. I'll do what has to be done.
I made a promise to our listeners
That's right.
that my sister and I
believe.
will go through everything one at a time.
Go ahead, Rachel. Say it.
I believe in shelf life.
So that was The Long Halloween by Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale, with Archie Goodwin giving them all of their inspiration. Cross it off the list. It is on the shelf.
One day, we'll have that entire list crossed off. One day, I believe in shelf life.
But until that day, I have been Kevin.
And I'm Rachel.
And this is Shelf Life. Until next time,
Oh, yeah,
I'm
thanks,
Batman.
Bruce.
I'm Batman.
Bye, Batman.
Bye, Batman. Thanks for coming. Oh, there he goes off on his bat cycle. Da-da-da. We'll see you next time here at Shelf Life. Da-da-da. This is more the Chris Nolan version, right? Because otherwise it would be that
Yeah.
dun 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 with all the
Yeah.
bells in the background. This feels more
Right.
like he's running away. Postscript here. We just watched the ending of the movie.
We did.
I don't know if we'll cover it or not at some point, but we just watched the last two scenes. And then I was like, okay, so what's going on here? Because Batman is with Gilda
Batman
as
is
she
there!
confesses to everything.
What the hell?
And then he's just like, yeah, I just don't want you to kill any more people. Thanks, Gilda. Bye. And leaves. And I was like, okay, what's going on? So I went to the Wikipedia page where I get all my plot points from, and it says, spoiler alerts for the movie, because it apparently is a little bit different. Alberto dies in this, and she was both Holiday and the woman Alberto spoke of the night he died. She hated Falcone, who forced Alberto into annulling their marriage. She was apparently married to Alberto Falcone.
That's ridiculous.
And forced her into getting an abortion, which ultimately rendered her infertile. Seeking justice, she married Harvey, believing he was her best chance at taking down Falcone, but decided to take matters into her own hands after realizing he could not embrace his demons as she did. So she basically caused him to go insane. So it is all Gilda, and it's all her fault in the movie. Assured that Holiday is finished, Batman leaves, not telling Gilda when she asks if he plans on telling Gordon or not. So in this, Gilda's not doing it to save Harvey, mistakenly thinking she's saving Harvey. She's doing this to get revenge for her and Alberto.
Yeah.
And that's why Alberto would take the fall, because Alberto would take the fall for her.
Sure. Why? Why did they do that?
That's
Why-
an interesting twist.
That's so weird, and I don't even get it. It's so weird.
Part 1 has an approval rating of 100% based on 19 reviews with an aggregate of 7.7 on Rotten Tomatoes. Part 2 has an approval rating of 100% based on 13 reviews with an average rating of 7.9. So the people that reviewed it thought it was really good. We'll have to watch it to know better, but that is a maybe it gives her better motivation to do this in this one. It
I
just makes it feel like she
guess.
was using Harvey, and I
Yes,
think that's also
at
a
that
problem.
point now it's she's just using Harvey and doesn't even love
Yeah.
him, and it's like, oh, okay,
Yeah, that just sets up a whole nother set of issues.
really?
All right.
Well,
Okay, well, that's the end of that.
that's fine.